Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition. I like to say that, but I don't know whether it's going to be exciting or not yet. Let's find out. But another exciting edition of the Shinhan Tank Pro League. I am going to be your host once again, as you can see from my name over there, KixSD, and I will be taking you through a pretty fun journey today through two series between four of the teams in the SCPL. We are on week 3. And this is the final set of games from week 3 as well, so should be a lot of fun to see these. Should be interesting to see what exactly happens with the standings once everything's done. Let's actually not waste too much time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip straight on over to the overlay so we can see exactly who is going to be playing. Well, first of all, let's have a look. No, actually, yeah, let's start with the matchup. Okay, let's do it this way. I'm trying to figure out the best order to do it to make it make sense. You have been blind. There is no new boxes on the shelf. And I did run my water. I did. Yeah, okay. Let's go on over to the overlay. So the first match we're going to see today is between NetWars and Team Liquid Staff. Now, NetWars have done pretty well so far. They've only actually played one game. They had a bye in week 2. Team Liquid Staff have played all 3 weeks so far. I believe their bye should be coming up shortly. 1-1, lost one. A lot of bug replays from Team Liquid Staff though, so hopefully we can avoid that this week. And to start us off, well, to have a look at the maps we're going to be looking at today. Once again, it's going to be the week 3 maps. So we're going to be starting with Gladiator, moving on to Polaris Rhapsody, going on to Grand Dynasty, moving on to Neo Moonglaive, and then finally, for the ace match, if we do get there, we will be heading on to Judgment Day. Now let's have a look at who's actually going to be playing today. Now we've got quite a decent diversity, but interestingly, for the first time in ages, there's actually only one Zerg today. So we're starting off with a TVP. Gonna carry on with another TVP because Flash will win race picks P against T. Then we're gonna have a PvP between Yeti and V1. V1 getting yet another PvP. He's been playing quite a few of those. And Kingpin versus Big Fan to possibly finish us off. That's going to be on Neo Moonglaive, and then of course whoever the ace players are. Now, if we have a quick look at the standings so far, I know it's not in order. I still haven't got around to fixing it, but hopefully I'll be able to fix it soon. SK Alpha showing their strength so far. They're miles up at the top of the table with a lot of wins, very few losses. Urk, unfortunately, well, you actually have Urk, DM, and Clan Rev all following behind. So there you have 2 of the teams from Group A and 2 from Group B, showing their strength really. Being top of the table at the moment. Close behind them, of course, is White Clan, Team Liquid Staff, Red, and various other teams as well. I won't go into that too much until it properly is fixed. Hopefully I'll be able to fix that within the next couple of weeks. It's a little bit harder to fix than I thought it was going to be, but there's not really much I can do about that. So let's have a look at who our first players are going to be. It's going to be Koget versus Big Fan. Now that's going to be a lot of fun. Big Fan does have a win. Unfortunately, his win was from a walkover against Bonneth, and he did lose his last match, so he's going to want to... Wait, have I put TVP on the thing? Wait, why did I put TVP in the thread? Either way, it's a TVT, so we're starting off with a TVT between one of the best foreign Terrans and an up-and-coming Terran in Big Fan. Koget's won all of his games so far. Big Fan did unfortunately get lost, as I said. And their map is going to be Gladiator, so this should be a lot of fun. Now, I have no idea how I thought Big Fan was Protoss again. I tricked you into watching a TVT. Oh man, I'm so sorry. I used man in a non-gendered way, of course. But, yeah, it's going to be on Gladiator. Going to be a lot of fun in TVT. Very easy to split the map, though. So if a Big Fan's macro can keep up with Koget and he plays a good positional game, basically a good positional game. We could have a long game here. Hopefully, it's going to be an exciting one, though. I know a lot of people don't like TBT as much as I do, and hopefully people aren't going to tune out because of it. But we've finally got a TBT in the SDPL. There's not been one so far, so hopefully this is a good one. So let's head on into the first game, and let's get started. Okay, now I'm just going to double check. Right, I've not pressed D. Right, let's actually go on over to the game screen and let's get going. So starting us off in the bottom right 5 o'clock position, it's going to be our purple Terran, Kogut. And spawning in the top right position. Wait, that's why it's not. Why did I put Big Fan in the overlay? Oh man, I've got to fix that. It's going to be 2-pack. That's why I was confused. And, I mean, 2-pack, very good player so far. I think 2-pack's actually won both of his games, so I'll just fix the overlay. Whoops. That would be why I was so confused and why I was like, I'm sure I put a Protoss in the thread. But let me just update that. Doesn't take me long to do, so just need to regenerate the colors. So it's purple versus blue, and there we go. Life makes a lot more sense. Oh man, I thought I was going crazy. Kogut didn't play Big Fan at all. That's what my problem was. Now, TVP, a little bit more exciting for many people than TVT is, so hopefully you guys won't mind it too much. I'm going to try and make it as exciting as possible. I rested my voice pretty well yesterday, so hopefully I'll be able to go a little bit more into it today. I was a bit worried about killing my voice the other day, but should be good today. And I need to put myself on D&D. I'm glad it was that set that off and not my friends whispering me again. But Kogut just gonna wall off at 11, gonna build his gas on 12. Very, very, very standard from him. Nothing too crazy going on. We also have a gateway first into gas. Likely gonna see one gateway into range, and apparently I nearly quit the replay. That would have been very interesting. I think I did Alt Q. And queuing units is like the worst, but yeah, there we go. Core is coming up. Are we going to see Kogut pull out of gas, or are we going to see him stay in? Is he going to go for an FD? Is he going to go for a 1-factory expand? Or is he going to go for a 2-fact here? Kogut does know that in this position, he's actually favoured, most likely, as he is one of the better foreign Terrans right now. But 2-pack, of course, very, very good as well. 2-pack hasn't been as active recently, but he has came back for STPL, which I'm very grateful for. And he's been putting on a very, very strong showing, so really nice of him to come back and play. Oh man. Okay, it looks like we're going to have the factory on about 15 supply. I did miss that, but we all know what's coming. It is going to be a 1-gate range, likely going to be a Nexus coming up behind this as well. Nothing too crazy. I am just going to quickly check something on my other screen. Hopefully I'm not going to miss anything important. Looks like I won't. Yeah, okay, so looks like we have the probe getting into the base, going to scout everything. Kogut did in fact pull off of his gas, so he will be going for, most likely, is he still in range? Nope, so he's going to stop at 3 marines. It's going to be a siege expand, could be a mine expand. Depending on what he scouts. He's going to send a second SCV out just to make sure. Does, of course, dodge the Dragoon here. There's a lot of really cool little juke paths you can take with your scouting worker on this map. And 2-pack, do not spoil the replay, man. But every game is getting casted, like, no offense. By the way, I just want to say a huge thank you to Tempest, by the way, who added $50 to the prize pool. So the prize pool for the entire tournament is set up at $700 right now, which is kind of crazy given the fact we're only 3 weeks in. So thank you very, very much for bleh. for all of the donations and everything and all of the support. It really does mean a lot. Hopefully you've all been enjoying what you've seen so far, but as I said, interestingly, Koga's built a bunker up the front. I guess he doesn't want to die to any kind of crazy Dragoon aggression, but of course, 2-Pack is going to be going for a Nexus here. Looks like, is he skipping Siege? He might be skipping Siege for a little bit to get up some extra factories quicker, or he may have finished Siege already. I'm not too sure, but he's not sieging his tank at least, and now he is. He'll be sieging in a second. He's already got siege mode, guys. Oh, maybe not. Okay, so I need to get my head in the game. I've been completely out of it recently. Today has been a pretty long day at work, but you know what? I'm home. We're gonna watch some cool Brood War. Looks like 2-Pack has added his Nexus. He's going up to 2 gateways. What is the tech choice going to be against this? And here we go, 2-Pack going to try and bust the front. Is he going to be able to get one of the tanks? He does. Can he get the other one though? Looks like he's a little bit too worried about the bunker. The SCVs have been pulled. And 2-Pack will fall back without losing a single Dragoon there. So really, really nicely microed by him. And this will allow him to get his Nexus up perfectly safe. Looks like we do have a scan coming down at the moment. I checked this bit of the base. It's almost like I'm map hacking. There'll be a scan down here as well, I can imagine. Yeah, there we go. He's going to check for anything crazy. Look for any form of cheese or anything like that. He's adding the engineering bay quite late. It's not a super early engineering bay. He doesn't need it that much. He did get the academy first. Very good play. Looks like we're going to have a second factory and possibly even a starport in the top right corner here. Depending on what he wants to do with his SUVs. 2-Pack looks like he's fine to just keep content and sit outside of the base here. Oh my god. Okay, so in case you don't understand the context of the chat right now, guys, as a joke, well, I think it's a joke, Hermu said he was going to be doing the SCPL drinking game, and every time someone mentions that it looks like I'm in a prison, he would have to take a shot of something. So, oh my god, that's really funny. You know what, we do have a Citadel on the way, leg speed coming up really, really quickly actually for 2-Pack. Another scan going down as well, just to confirm exactly what tech's on the way. There is going to be a starport as well as a third factory, so Koga likes to play a little bit more aggressive, likes to bring in that dropship style. Of course, it does give you the option of getting a Wraith as well. That actually does help. Here we go. Speed is done on the Vulture. Vulture's going to be able to slip completely past here. Interestingly, Dragoons didn't move to intercept at all. But luckily enough, he does have Dragoons back at home. Going to be very, very difficult for the Vulture to really do anything. It looks like he's more likely going to just put some mines when they do finish up, which should be relatively soon. It's going to take a little bit for them to finish. But it will allow him to put mines on the expansion, scout around for any extra bases as well, and he is going to find this first probe, so really, really nicely done by Koga. That looks like he nearly actually missed that. That would have been kind of funny if the probe got past. That's happened to me far too many times. And this is a very, very interesting turret location for Koga. Of course, this is outside the front of his base, will allow him to block off a lot of observers moving in from that path. Going to mean his bunker can shoot them down. But when he lifts his barracks, it's going to be a little bit harder for his units to fit through this gap a little bit later on. So we may see him actually kill the bunker at some point. Koga doing a pretty good job making sure he stays out of supply block. We do have +1 almost finished already. And we should have a dropship on the way. Then he's going to go straight into a science facility. Once to get that 2 attacks started, as soon as physically possible, we should have a second armory coming up here. And that looks like what this SUV is going to be doing. Nope, maybe not. It's going to be this SUV. There we go. Second armory on the way. It looks like we do have a nice mine going off. Doesn't actually go off somehow. But that Vulture has been blocked away by a single Dragoon and a probe. Going to allow him to take this base perfectly safe. Of course, the Vulture does survive. Has he used all of those mines? It looks like he has done. So he's probably going to leave this on patrol between the bases. And that's exactly what he's doing. Now, what is going on inside of 2-Pack's base? Looks like he's adding up to his 6th gateway. Still no additional tech, interestingly. No observatory. No robo, even. And this could be quite dangerous as the mine count does slowly start to build up. It looks like Tupac, though, is going to try and go for a big bust here. He has a lot of units. He's delayed his third Nexus. He's building a lot of units to try and break through here. And is it going to work? Koga does have quite a lot of tanks. And he scans, does not see any additional tech here. So this could be a giveaway. But is this going to be enough Terran units to actually deal with this Protoss force? We actually have another scan going down on the natural. Now, of course, the interesting thing is here, the dropship is going around the right side of the map. There's no units back home to defend at the moment. And Tupac still isn't pulling the trigger with this attack. He's not waiting for an upgrade. He's finally now getting his robotics facility. But I'm kind of interested to see exactly why Tupac is actually waiting here. I almost feel like if he'd have gone a little bit sooner, he may have been able to break through. The tanks aren't sieged. They're going to take a little bit to siege, and here we go. Looks like the tank's going to move forward, going to push the Dragoons back a little bit. Maybe Tupac was waiting for Koga to leave his base here, but this is a very risky maneuver. And here we go, the drop has been activated in the natural. A nice mine does go down in the middle of all the Dragoons here. Looks like we have another dropship, so double drop coming in from Koga. One at the natural, one at the main. One at the third even. And it looks like some units have been sent back to try and defend this, but this is going to be so hard for Koga to, or for Tupac to be able to really defend this. He's going to pull his probes to actually... Wait. That probe is attacking through the minerals. That's some cheating strats, guys. But here we go. Looks like we're going to have another dropship coming in. Looks like it's just going to pick up the units that are there. But Tupac has lost so many probes, and here we go. He's pushing in. Can he break through Koga's defense? He thinks he has to all in here. And this is do or die for Tupac as he moves directly into the fight. There's just so many tanks, though. And because of the bunker and the turret, the Zealots can't actually path towards the tanks. And this is a huge, huge blunder by Tupac moving in right now. He doesn't feel like he can defend the drop, though. And dematering the first tank. Gonna be enough, and GG. Tupac, unfortunately, goes out to a quick double drop. And Koga just defending his base. That's what'll happen sometimes, guys. Now, I don't know if Tupac did send all of his units back, but if he'd just gone for that all-in a little bit earlier, he may have been able to break through, but that was just way, way, way too many units for Koga in the end. So, unfortunately, Tupac gonna go down 1-0 in this series. Koga's gonna take the lead here for Net Wars. Let me just update the overlay just to make sure that is properly reported, so I don't have to reload the overlay like I did the other day. And I'm losing my words today, it's kind of bad. Yeah, there was a lot of units from Tupac before, and unfortunately they just kind of melted. So let me just bring up the... Well, actually, I'm just going to bring up the next replay, because I found out if I play the intro video while the replays are loading, it lags out everything. So you know what, let's quickly load up the next replay. I can then set up the overlay while the intro is playing, and then we can get in to the next game. That should be a lot of fun. I believe we're actually going to have... Now actually, you know what, I'm not going to guess, purely because I guessed before somehow and got it wrong. I believe it's going to be... Yeah, it is. It's going to be a TBP with Radley versus Flash for the win. I'm just going to quickly load the replay up, get the overlay ready while the intro is going, and we can jump straight into the game. I was just looking at chat. This whole prison thing is so funny. I don't understand it, but you know what? The replay is loaded, so let me quickly go over to the intro, and I will see you guys in about a minute. Okay guys, we are back. Let's actually just quickly have a look at what the players are going to be in this game. As you can see from the beginning, it's going to be Radley Young versus Flash for the win. Now, Radley did win his first game, as you can see. Flash for the win, not done so well so far. He has been up against some incredibly strong opponents though. And I believe every game he's played so far has been PvT. I don't think he's played Terran yet. Maybe he played a TVZ, I'm not too sure. But apparently the versus opponent's race thing isn't working, so I need to fix that. That's a bit of an upset. But the map they are going to be playing on is going to be Polaris Rhapsody. And Polaris Rhapsody, pretty cool. As I've said many times before, if you've seen any of my casts, basically you have the weird path through the center, mostly unbuildable. But then you also have the two bridges connecting them, which are very, very thin. Going to be very hard to break through those for either player. I've tried to push over there in TVP before, and it does not end well. But of course you do have like the high grounds going around the outer edges of the base, middle only third, on two sides of the natural actually. There's one on the high ground to the right, one at the bottom, and for the top expansion at the top and the left side. And a couple of gas bases, of course, the double gas bases in the top right and bottom left. Let's not waste any more time, let's get into this game and let's enjoy some Brood War. Let's go. Okay, starting us off in the top left position even, we do have the orange Terran. It's going to be Radley, playing under the ID J.E. Rayner. And his opponent spawning down in the 5 o'clock position is the yellow Protoss, the race-picking Terran. It's going to be Flash for the win, fighting for TL in this series. And I'm just going to quickly take a drink of water, so we can get ready for this. I'm actually quite excited by today. We've had a couple of TVPs already. TVP, if you don't already know, is my favourite matchup in the game, so it's quite a pleasure to be able to see this. Now, it looks like Flash for the win. Gonna be a little bit cheesy this game, I didn't quite mention that before, but he sent out an incredibly early probe, and it looks like we're gonna have at least a proxy gateway here. Not sure if it's gonna be one or if it's gonna be two, but of course you only need to send one worker to build two if you want to as Protoss. And Radley is skipping the ability to wall on this map, gonna go straight for probably a Zealot type wall with the barracks to the right of the command center. Hopefully he will build some Marines and won't skip them, but we should actually have the first gateway coming up now. And it is...
I like your style, friend.
Thank you very much for the subscription, Legit DPS. We're going to have the first gateway there. Looks like it's not going to be two this time. Flash for the win, of course, can go back and add them on when he sees there is no Zealot type wall right now. Of course, Radley could add another... you know what would be really good if Flash for the win actually bought a pylon here. Looks like he's not going to though. Gonna try and harass the building SCV. Of course, this is gonna delay Radley's scout, so Radley is not gonna see this coming. And this could be a very, very dangerous position for him. If he completely neglects to wall, he is going to have to rely on nothing but micro, and it is incredibly difficult to micro against Zealots with SCVs and Marines on their own. You really do need that wall. And Radley, of course, not going to go and check for a proxy. He does not suspect a thing. And this could be a very, very painful game for the Terran. And for the Terran race in general, actually. The first Zealot going to be coming up now. Looks like the wall is going to complete just in time. So luckily enough, he will have a little bit of an area to micro around. But of course, it's not a guaranteed survival strategy. You still have to... They'll have to micro pretty well against this. Now the Zealot, of course, is going to have to juke around the barracks to try and do this. Now, interestingly, Flash for the win, I'm not so sure, is super confident with the Zealot micro, because he could always send the probe one way and the Zealot the other. But looks like we have the factory under the barracks, going to create a secondary wall here, and going to make it very, very annoying for these Zealots to do anything. Interestingly, Radley feels confident enough to actually move out onto the onto his choke, even, and actually try and get something done, but the factory's going to be delayed just a little bit. Looks like it can be delayed again. Looks like we do actually have a scout going down in the base of I'll flash for the win. Let's actually have a look. If the SCV is actually attacking the gas mining probes. How about a taste of your own medicine, Protoss? But here we go. Looks like we do have 3 Marines here now. They're going to be enough to hold off the Zealots, at least with good micros. So here we go. Looks like he's going to be pulling them back behind his wall again. But slowly but surely the Marine, it's going to delay the factory even more, and this is huge. Now, is there a cybernetics callback home? It looks like there is. It looks like there is. Zealot's going to try and get on top of the SCVs, killing another SCV building the factory. This is why this is so hard to do, and why you can't really use the factory as part of the wall like that. But it looks like it will be finally held off. The Marines have done what they needed to do. Really, really nice micro by Radley. Gonna keep all of his Marines alive. Really, really hard to do. But looks like we do have Goon range coming in now. Radley, being a little bit annoying himself, going to be attacking this pylon. Of course, Flash for the win will eventually have to pull something off the line to deal with this, or he will lose his pylon. I mean, it doesn't happen very often, but you never know. Looks like we do have the first Dragoon out on the field. That's actually going to not going to push in, actually. He knows that there's going to be 5 Marines now at the top of the ramp, and we will most likely have an FD from this position. Should have mines coming up very soon, if I know my Terran builds, but looks like no, going to be a command center first, and he's probably saving for siege now. Kind of an interesting choice. It does allow you to be a little bit safer, but of course if you are going for the Marines anyway, you may as well go for the mines and try and push the Zealots back. But Radley has of course pulled guys off of gas. It looks like he's going to be building a... Wait, what's he... Oh, he's building the second tank. Okay, so he's going no siege, just getting a tank in. Here we go. Looks like we do have a pylon coming up, showing the Robo as Flash for the win. Kind of interesting. Maybe he feels very confident in his PvT. He's done a decent bit of damage, killed a few SCVs, of course. Didn't get a perfectly even trade though. He did throw away 4 Zealots, and of course now he does have a gateway in the middle of the map, which, well, more on the complete other side of the map, which isn't really going to be able to do too much. Here we go. Looks like we will have siege coming in behind this, and Radley looks like he actually wants to push across the map here with just his Marines and his tanks. Of course, this can be a good reaction. You can go and kill the buildings if you want to, but looks like he is going to wait for a couple of SCVs, another Marine, and possibly another tank, although that may be waiting a little bit too long. But it's going to be up to Flash for the win now to try and defend this. Of course, his early aggression has been thwarted. Looks like we've got a Jaw Daddy in the chat, being Jaw Daddy as usual. And thank you for the support, Abby. I know you're talking about the prison jokes, but you know what, it doesn't matter. But weirdly, it doesn't look like Radley is actually going to push out. I think he feels a little bit worried about a possible Reaver pushing in, but of course there is only going to be an observatory here with the second gateway. Nexus coming up as well. Going to give Flash for the win the option to try and transition into a more stable mid-game. Go into the late game with a slight disadvantage, but not too much. Of course, the big disadvantage here is the second base is up a lot earlier for for Radley, and that's going to make it a lot easier to macro up a little bit later in the big game as well. We do not have an academy up yet. Looks like he's going to go for an armory before academy. Just going to make sure he starts those upgrades as soon as possible, and interestingly, adding a missile turret at his natural just to be perfectly safe against sort of anything crazy. Probably going to use this to try and defend against Reavers. May even be able to catch the Observer if he's careful, but that's going to be a little bit hard. And yeah, the unique thing about my my casting is I cast from inside a prison. That's what I do these days. Looks like we've got, like, Radley is playing incredibly defensively here. I don't think he realizes just how much damage he could have done if he'd have pushed a little bit earlier. Now, of course, the Observer not going to be spotted by the turret here. Going to be able to scout absolutely everything. Radley still is on 1 factory, so he's not really going to be able to put too much aggression on, but this is going to be 1 factory, double armory. Finally, we have the academy coming up as well. But when you don't go for when you go for a style like this and you do not get any vultures or sort of any additional factories really early on, I mean, it's 6 minutes. Usually in a TVP, or it's 8 minutes. Usually in a TVP, you want at least 3 factories, unless you're going for like mass tanks, but looks like the Observer is going to get caught out by the missile turret. Of course, it has seen most of the things it had like needs to, but due to the fact he's not really built any vultures, he doesn't know what's going on the map. Can't really use his vision to actually go and attack the gateway. So all the meanwhile, Flash of the Wind's been able to use that to Makarov off. He's doing a pretty good job. He's up to 75 supply now. And with observers out on the map, he's going to be able to scour for some non-existent mines. Of course, losing that first observer to the turret, not the best of plays, but it could be worse. Looks like we're finally going to see some additional factories being added for Radley. He's going for 1-1 on both of his armories at the same time, so the upgrades are going to be coming in soon. And Flash of the Wind is going to be going for a third base. He knows that he's going to be pretty safe now. Interestingly, he's opted to go for the mineral only. To be honest, I think it would be better for him to take the bottom left at this point. He's got such an advantage army-wise, and Radley does not really know what's going on, but this is a huge move. Flash of the Wind does not have anything back to defend, and this could be a lot of probes going down. One has gone down so far. Not the best target for him by Radley, only 2 so far. 3 probes, 4 probes, 5 probes. Can he get up to 10? 6 now, but this should be fairly easily defended now, but still 6 probes, 7 probes. Can he get 8? No, he's missing his targets. 8, there we go. Not going to get 9, possibly. Yeah, doesn't get the 9th probe, but 8 probes is a lot of probe damage to take early on. Interestingly, Flash of the Wind has just sent a second observer over here. Going to be able to get back into the main. No turret really added to sort of cover this. We're going to see the fact there is going to be 6 factories on the way for Radley. It's very possible he's going to go for a timing attack. Adding on his science facility, going to allow him to start the 2-2 if we check his upgrade timing. You really want to add the science facility about 3/4 of the way done, and then it allows you to start 2-2 immediately, if I remember rightly. But finally, we see Radley scouting out this single gateway. And that's going to allow him to do everything. Now, looks like we do have Flash for the Win. Moving up the right side of the map, they're going to move into the Vultures here. Now, Vultures trying to do what they can to secure a little bit of ground in between him and the base. Now, a scan did go down on the bottom right. I did mention this before, but that is a double gas base that can come into effect very, very nicely in this matchup for the Protoss. Does allow you to tech up really, really quickly. Allows you to get those Arbiters out, which he is going to. Are we going to see a second Stargate? That would be an interesting choice, of course. Arbiter's pretty good on this map. There's a lot of dead space you can actually recall in. Finally, that gateway is unpowered. Looks like we don't have any additional bases for Radley yet. Looks like he's going to take his mineral only as well. But both players playing incredibly passive right now. Given the situation in the game, I'm not sure either of them are super confident on the map. Of course, this is probably the first tournament they've ever played in that uses this map. I know Radley has played it before, because he played in one of the first ever iteration of the STPL. He played under the alias of Boxer, and then won the Bacchus off game net Star League that I ran as well. So he did a really good job last time. That was a really cool finals. All the VODs for that are all up on my YouTube. But that was basically my first sort of set of tournaments in 2015. Of course, we're in 2018 now, 3 years later, and I'm doing what I can to try and bring you guys good tournaments, good games, and just keep the players interested in playing the game. Really, it looks like we're going to go up to finally 6 gateways for Flash of the Wind. Of course, he's been on 3 for a while. Looks like it is only going to be 1 gateway for now, but finally, looks like Radley feels a little bit more confident. He's moving out on the map with his vultures, and not only do the mines give you map, put a hold over the map, it also gives you a lot of vision. You can feel a lot safer, knowing that the Protoss army isn't in places is such an important skill. It looks like 2 probes going to go down as well. Not the best of trades. But of course there is a lot of vultures here. They're going to be able to lay a lot of mines on the high ground and just make it kind of annoying for Flash of the Wind to try and move over. Of course, he will be able to do it, but there is a possibility that the Dragoons will glitch out with their pathing, run straight into the mines as well. Looks like the mines will finally get cleared up now. And the probe is going to move over onto the left. So one other thing to point out about the bottom left base, we can see it on the mini-map. But basically you can block it with a single pylon, and Vultures cannot get past here. And here we go, looking like he's using the mines as a distraction. Going to try and bust in with another group of Vultures. Not going to work, unfortunately. Radley is finally getting in his third base, moving up his bunker as well. Really, really nice play by him. Going for 4 factories without add-ons, 2 with. And he's actually going for 2-port Wraith here with Cloak. This is such an interesting choice. I wonder why he's actually scanned to see this. Maybe he thinks there's going to be carriers, but I mean, even then, 2-port Wraith against carriers is a very, very risky play. Of course, it can be used to snipe Arbiters as well, but kind of a crazy, crazy situation for Radley now. It looks like he does have 1-1 done. His 2-2 has not started yet. Oh no, he's actually started. Oh, okay, so he's got 2-1. This is the perfect time for the timing push. I thought that somehow he'd forgotten plus to attack, but no, he does have it. And this is going to be the moment he's going to try and move in and try and punish the Protoss for playing a little bit too greedy here. There's a lot of Dragoons going down for pretty much free. There's not really been that many deaths from the Terran side. A lot of the Dragoons heavily damaged from earlier on. And this is a lot of damage going down on the Protoss army. Looks like we do have the Arbiter coming in though. First scan does go down. The tanks are not in siege mode. He thinks he can break through without siege. Interesting decision. Is it going to pay off? The tanks are being assaulted by the Vultures, but this is just too many tanks. Radley does not need siege. He has the high ground advantage, and that is working perfectly for him here. And Flash for the win is holding on with a thread, but he looks like he's going to lose his third base. But these Zealots moving in should be able to tidy everything up, and the tanks forced to run back. But here we go, nice mine going off on top of all the Zealots. They're going to do a lot of damage, and another couple of mines taking out the tank which was miles away, and the Vultures. So really, really nice moves by Radley. They're going to save most of his tanks actually and pull back. And of course he's gained an advantage now. He secured his third base. This is what he needed to do with that push, and he's going to be able to go for a fourth. Looks like we have... Wait, where the hell is the sound of the Wraiths? Oh, the Wraiths were going after observers. That's really cool, actually. Looks like we do have the Wraiths moving out on the map. Of course, he has now shown them. There's going to be 1 cannon here. This should actually be enough to send the Wraiths away. But looks like we have yet another scan going down, just trying to find any observers that he can find. He scanned the bottom left as well, just making sure there's no defense, and because there is, he's going to fall back. And he is going to look to take his own 4th base here. Looks like Flash for the win with his 2 upgrades. Going to be able to do quite a lot. Looks like we finally have some Arbiters getting produced. They're going to be able to look to do some recalls, and this is a lot of gateways by Flash for the win. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 gateways on the 4 base. Of course, I believe it's 13 gateways for every 3 bases you have, if I remember rightly. I can never remember the maths for Protoss, but here we go. Looks like we do have a big engagement coming up now. Looks like the Wraith's going to try and move in and snipe the Arbiters. Can they get them? It's so close, but the Arbiter survives with 1 health point. Sorry, 3 health points on 1 shield. And fun from Radley. 3 HP XD. And here we go. Looks like he's going to push in again. He does not have any other anti-air, and use a little bit of a chat rush here. Looks like the Protoss army going to move in from the bottom. Is he going to be able to get in? The tanks are on top of the mines, and this could be very, very dangerous. The Zealots trying to get to the back. Looks like we could have a big mine drag, but no. It looks like Radley has a strong position. The stasis helping him as well, but Flash for the win is breaking his way through. Of course, there is still mines here, so he does need to be careful, or things like this could happen, but no, it's going to be enough. And Radley securing his 4th base is, of course, had his tank count immediately reset. I'm going to try and guess when this is going to come out. I always have trouble timing this when I'm playing, so let's see if I can time it better when I'm casting. Looks like we have a lot of units going up to the top right. The stasis should end in just a second, I believe. Yep, there we go. I actually kind of got it. I always miss this, but here we go. This is a lot of Zealots coming in. There's no mines to defend this. This turret is not going to save this base, Radley. You need to send some units over there pretty quickly. Looks like he's going to try to, but the Zealot's going to get in before any units can get there to defend, and these are 2-0 Zealots. They are going to do a lot of damage, even against Vultures and tanks here, but looks like Flash for the win playing a little bit passively, doesn't feel confident enough to really push into this. Of course, Radley does have his 2-2 upgrades, or 3-2 upgrades even, and that is a big upgrade advantage for the Terran. And here we go, looks like we have some more units pushing out into the map. Nice mines going off. Oh, a huge mine once again, doing a lot of damage to all of the units. But Flash of the Wind has a huge army. He wants to press his advantage in this game. And this is going to be pretty big. Now, is there many reinforcements back at Radley's base? Not too many. He's got quite a big bank. 3-3 should be finishing up soon. But here we go. We have a siege for 4 tanks and 5 vultures. That's not going to be enough to hold on. This is one of the problems splitting your army up. He is going to lose both parts of his army, both small parts of his army separately. And Flash of the Wind looks like he's going to push to this top right base. He sees that there's not much defense with the Observer, of course, and this is going to be a lot of damage. Interestingly, Flash of the Wind hasn't gone for any form of recall or anything. He doesn't really need to. He's got a good position. Looks like we have tanks in the back. Is it going to be enough to hold on? There's a lot of heavily damaged Dragoons, and of course this heavily damaged Arbiter still alive, but this is a very nice stasis. And Flash of the Wind should be able to clean up absolutely everything here. There's no more units to send over from Radley. Radley looks like he wants to go for a counter-attack, but this 4th base is going to go down. Looks like we may even have a recall coming in, or he may be going just to get ready to assault this base as well. We have some vultures moving down to the bottom left. Are they going to be able to really do too much though? Looks like he's trying to catch some of the units, try and move into the areas he needs to, but here we go. Lots of units waiting for that stasis to run out. Hopefully I can figure out when that's going to happen, but Radley throwing away a lot of vultures, trying to kill a lot of Dragoons. Can he do it? Nice mines, but not really nice enough. The Dragoon's going to clean up all the vultures now, and it looks like I just missed the stasis coming out, but I was a little bit close to that time. Need to keep an eye on the timer. Oh, really nice mines though. And these Dragoons are going to soak so many mines. That is so many mine kills for Radley. They're really nicely done. But Radley may even lose his 3rd base here. He needs to send his extra units up to reinforce. There's still 13 gateways as far as I can tell. We finally do have 2 Stargate Arbiter coming in, and Radley trying to expand over to this other mineral-only base. Is going to find this in contention with the Protoss forces. And finally, it looks like Flash of the Wind is going to go for a bust on both sides. Still no recall coming in. But Radley looks like he's going to try and take the left-hand side base. That is a very greedy gambit right now. We have a lot of a lot of raids coming in again. And here we go. It looks like Flash of the Wind going to move in. There's no Terran defenses here. All of the Terran units are moving to the other mineral only. And this is going to give up Bradley's position on the right side of the map entirely. And is that Arbiter that was on 3 health still alive? Yes, it is. Looks like Radley is going to be able to hold off this base, but he cannot hold on to his 3rd now. His 4th has died. I mean, this is technically his 3rd. Finally, that Arbiter goes down. But the use of 2-port Wraith here is kind of very baffling to me. They die so quickly. But here we go, Radley trying to be a little bit aggressive on his own. He knows all the Protoss units are in his side of the map. He does have a tank in a good position with the D Matrix on, and he is going to try and use this as an opportunity to move in. Of course, the Protoss player has not got a 5th base. The Protoss player can't really expand to an easy 5th, as well as he could to his 4th bases. He's going to have to expand towards the Terran, and here we go. Looks like Radley doing what he can, trying to kill as many units as he can, but this is one tank, and this is a lot of Zealots, and a nice Mind Drag actually takes out a lot of the Zealots and the tank. And this is going to be enough to actually move in, but here we go. More mines going to go off. All these going to be huge. Oh, a huge mine! One of the unit, I think that was a Zealot as well. But really nicely done by Radley with these mines. But this is a huge army. 4 Flash for the win. He's almost maxed again. Radley is going to try and hold on. He's throwing away more vultures though. Trying to lay mines a little bit too far forward, but here we go. This is where the engagement comes in. The only tank has actually been stasis. And I think this is going to be the last bastion of hope for Radley, who's actually, all of his mining SCVs are running away from his 5th base. They're going to be going into the 3rd, but here we go. Zealots on top of the tanks. This is just going to be too much. The Arbiter's not even going down. He doesn't have any upgrades on them, but Wraiths just do pitiful damage against Arbiters. But there we go. One of the Arbiters does go down. The 3rd base of Radley is once again going to go down. And I believe this is going to be the moment that Radley's going to tap out here. Not really too much he can do. He's trying to hold on to his command center. Can't even repair. All the SCVs are bugging out here. And Radley down to 50 supply. his only tank, I believe, now coming out of stasis. And Radley's playing valiantly. He's trying to hold on. Looks like Flash of the Wind going to try and take this gas base over on the left. Of course, this has actually been scouted as well. But what is Radley going to do? He's going to try and distance mine. I mean, I admire Radley's tenacity, but unfortunately, there are some games you cannot come back from. And I believe this is one of them. That actual Wraith not actually doing anything. But here we go, another command center. Going back to the top right, he's going to try and hold on to there again. And if he's lucky, he may actually be able to catch some of these probes going for back to his natural from this 5th base. And I have no idea how Radley is able to be so aggressive in the face of such adversity. But here we go, moving forward with his vultures once again. And his 2 tanks. Is this going to be enough? I don't think it is. He may be on the high ground, but the high ground advantage isn't that good. He's on 3-3 upgrades against 2-0, but that's too many Protoss units, and GG! Flash for the win. Takes his first win, and TL's first win in the series. So that was a fairly exciting TVP. Looks like Radley delivering on his games again. I've always enjoyed watching Radley play, and Flash for the win, just playing that PvC really, really well. Showing that he actually knew how to play the map quite well in the end, making use of the high grounds to move across. A little bit disappointing with his anti-mine defense, but you know what? That's not everything, guys. But let's actually host up the next replay. While I do that, gonna show the intro again, and let's get in to the next game. Okay, welcome back, guys. Let's have a look at the overlay. Let's actually just play the Brewball music. A little bit easier. I don't have anyone else to play the music for me, so let's actually jump on over to the overlay. Let's have a look at what players are going to be playing. And here we go. We're going to have NetWars Yeti versus V1 in a PvP. So first PvP of the day. V1's actually been doing pretty well. He's won 2 of his games, lost 1. Yeti's, of course, only played 1 game, and he did win it. I believe Yeti played a PvZ before. May have been a PvP, though. Need to fix the versus opponent's race thing. I'll do that over the weekend, hopefully. But should be a pretty cool game, and it's going to be on Grand Line SE. Now, Grand Line SE... Wait. The screen's black. Oh, wait, man. Okay. Let's actually just go back to that. I forgot to change the scene, but here we go. As you can see the players, let's move on to the map. It's going to be Grand Line SE. Really cool map. Maybe not going to go too long in a PvP, but you never know. You do have the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock bases as gases, but they're on islands. They could actually come into play in PvP quite a lot, actually, I think. Depending on what both players do. I believe you have the 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock are going to be the only other gas base on the map other than the other main and natural. And you do have, once again, a mineral-only third with a lot of unbuildable terrain in the center. They're going to be pretty cool for a PvP. Let's not... I'm just, by the way, I saw the joke about Flash for the Win calling himself, like, Flash for the Win is kind of funny. But I love the idea of someone being in the casino and when the house wins they cheer. That'd be really, really good. But yeah, let's actually jump into the replay and let's get going, guys. So I just want to make sure I've hidden the thing, and here we go. Let's go. Starting us off in the bottom right position, it is going to be the Yellow Protoss playing for Net Wars in this 1-1 series. It's going to be Yeti. And spawning in the top right, playing for Team Liquid Staff, it's going to be V1. And he is doing a pretty bang-up job so far. In the tournament, he's been doing really well for his team. Can he pull off another win here? Can he bring Team Liquid up 2-1 against Net Wars? Or is Yeti going to stand in his way? I'm really interested to find out, but what are they both going to do? Now, PvP, of course, as I'm a Terran player, isn't my speciality, but I've seen quite a lot of PvPs recently, so I'm slowly getting used to everything and slowly getting used to how the timings work. Of course, they've both gone for a pylon in their base. Proxy Gateway doesn't seem as big of a thing in PvP, but interestingly, Yeti is scouting very, very early, going to scout off of the back of his pylon, whereas V1 is going to be scouting off the back of his gateway. Now, the interesting thing about this is V1 is not going to see what way Yeti's probe came in, so he's not going to be able to immediately scout in the correct direction. Of course, it will be interesting to see if he does. Looks like he will do... Will he? No, he's going to scout in the wrong direction, so this is pretty huge for Yeti. This is going to be a big advantage for him. Of course, the gateway will be ever so slightly ahead for V1, as he did get the extra minerals from the extra mining time. But V1, interestingly, taking another probe off of his mining to try and chase this probe down. Of course, probes do have the same speed, the same health, and the same attack range. So, kind of a questionable decision to do this. He's not going to get gas stalled or anything. But looks like we do have mirror builds so far from both teams, from both players for both teams. Now, I say that, but there's no cybernetics core been added yet for V1. Whereas before the second pylon, Yeti's actually added the cybernetics core on first. So his Dragoon's going to be a little bit quicker. The other difference is V1 has actually gone for a Zealot to try and chase away that probe. Whereas Yeti is allowed to skip immediately into the cybernetics core, get his Dragoon out as quickly as possible, and not worry about any sort of micro with any of his units. Of course, he still hasn't scouted exactly where his opponent is or what his opponent's doing, so it's very important he does keep the probe in check, make sure he doesn't lose anything. But here we go, the probe micro from Yeti is incredibly good so far. He's only taken one hit, I believe, so far, and that was to... oh no, he must have taken more than that, because he's taken 5 hull damage, but I mean, he's doing a really good job with this. Looks like we actually have a second Zealot on the way for V1. He's not going to go straight into his cybernetics core or anything. Cybernetics core, of course, going to come up now. And this second Zealot's actually going to delay his... oh no, it's not going to delay anything. That's kind of interesting. He still gets his Dragoon out on time. Of course, his Dragoon count will be a little bit lower, but he will have the 2 Zealots out the front to try and soak up some of that damage from the other Dragoons. And that is very, very important in PvP. Looks like we do have the scouting probe of V1 going to go down immediately. Does of course scout. The goon range is on the way. Will scout. There is 3 pylons in the main as well, so there's going to be no kind of proxy or anything like that. And I mean, so far this has been a pretty standard PvP. There's not really too much to say, not really too many differences. Of course, well, I say not too many differences, and there has been 2 differences. Over on this side of the map, we see 2 Dragoons, whereas here we see 2 Zealots. And we also see the second gateway coming up for V1, whereas looks like, sorry, for Yeti, and V1 is going to go straight into a Robo, and then the second factory, second gateway even. But we do have the Robo coming up as well for Yeti. Looks like Yeti's Robo is just slightly behind again. And this scouting probe, still alive, gonna try and come back and see something else, but does get chased away. And V1 looks like he's either clicked on the probe or he's just gonna try and go for a scout himself. But that is gonna be denied by the Dragoons. And that's actually gonna be an important scout for V1. He's gonna know that Yeti could have the option of going for aggression. He's seen the Dragoon count here. And it looks like we are going to get aggression here. This is 3 gateways from our yellow Protoss from Net Wars. Should be kind of cool to see if he can actually hold on to this. There's going to be a support bay a lot quicker. Oh, actually, there's not going to be a support bay from Yeti, so this is going to be 3 gateway observer, or sorry, 3 gate obs, which is an anti-DT build, I believe. Just allows you to sort of defend against any DTs. Of course, there is like a 4 gate all-in you can do as well, but that pretty much immediately dies to DTs. There's not really too much you can do about that. But are we going to see a 4th gateway here, or is he just going to stick to his 3 gates, build up a big Dragoon count, and then move in? Looks like Yeti may have been thinking about expanding there, does of course send his probe back, going to be looking to build that Reaver very quickly. Now this Reaver is going to be worth its weight in absolute gold here when this engagement finally does happen. Yeti is going to be going to have to push into this choke or maybe up the ramp, and what's going to happen is the Reaver is going to get some very nice scarabs. Looks like we have the observatory coming up for V1 as well. That's going to allow him to scout for any obs, going to allow him to snipe the observers of his opponent. Of course, the first observer is on the way now for Yeti. By the time this observatory finishes, he should actually have an observer just in time to really go and kill this. So, kind of good for him. Looks like we actually have the probe. Gonna scout that there's no second base. He's seen that there's an incredibly high gateway count, at least an incredibly high Dragoon count, and this is going to mean that he will be able to guess that it is going to be 3 gates here. Looks like we are finally going to see an expansion coming up as well. The money pooling up there is a big tell of that. There we go, Nexus coming in. Now Yeti of course doesn't need to attack, he's not that far behind, he's actually going to be ahead now. He's ahead in supply, not too sure if he's ahead in workers. I mean, looking at the shadows, it looks like he may have built a couple of extra workers compared to V1. But of course V1 does have the tech advantage here. He will be able to take this into the later game with a little bit of a stronger army. But of course no forges or anything for either player right now. So nothing too crazy. Now this is the only problem with PvP. Like sometimes they can be super exciting, and other times they can be very well. It's the same with TvT and CVC, I guess. Sometimes you do just get these really passive PvPs where both player doesn't really want to attack because they know they can lose the game if they attack. Looks like V1 is playing incredibly defensive, keeping his 3 Dragoons here to try and defend against Charles, but look at this, really nice pick-off by the Dragoons here. They're going to get the Observer, can they get it? No, it just gets away. And that is really nicely done by V1 to save that. But are we going to see him build a shot at any point soon? It looks like we should have, but second Reaver on the way before any form of shuttles here. And I mean, this is a very good map for Reaver Harass. There's a lot of dead space behind the natural. Of course, you do have the ability to leave your observer there. The main is a little bit harder to get into, but of course you do have the path around the middle. Now we finally have some extra gateways coming in for V1. A Citadel of Adun as well. There's going to be 4 gates against 3 for the time being. Natural, of course, up a lot sooner for Yeti, but the natural finishes up pretty soon for V1 as well. They're both going to be able to saturate the bases now, and it looks like we're going to be going into a fairly long macro game here on Grand Line. Very hard in this position to actually attack purely because this bridge exists. Makes it very difficult to push through. If one player has gone Reaver, for instance, and you go Dragoon and you try and push through here, you'll die. Now, of course, as you can see here, there is the high ground pod in the middle. This does allow you to circumvent the bridge and make your way around, which is a lot safer for the Dragoons. Of course, they'll have the high ground advantage coming down to the low ground here, but it doesn't look like V1's really that interested in leaving his base. We finally have a shuttle on the way. He's going to be able to load up a couple of Reavers, it looks like. Mega with 1 and 2 Zealots, and just do what he can to try and do some aggression, some harassment here. But Yeti, with such an overwhelming army size, has units absolutely everywhere to try and defend against this, but slowly but surely, the longer Yeti does not add gateways on, looks like, oh actually, wow, he's actually added up to 6 gateways now against the 4. So Yeti does not want to fall behind in units, but here we go, another source of AoE going to be coming in for V1. Looks like he's going to go into Storm as well, and that is a very nice choice for him. You may have the gateway advantage, but if you have Storms, if you have Reavers, the unit advantage really does go in favor of the lower supply player if you play cost efficiently enough, and that is something certainly that Templar and Reavers can do. Now, looks like we do have the Storm coming up for Yeti as well. Yeti's still not actually adding on the Reaver tech. I guess he's going to skip that this game. But both of them still sitting back quite nicely. I mean, neither of them really need to push in right now. They just kind of want to macro up. Looks like we could even see a 200-200 fight before, well, a 200-200 army before either of them really move out. Finally, it looks like V1 has pulled the trigger. He's going to move out onto the map. Now, there is a lot of Zealots in this army. For both players, actually. I thought there was only going to be it for V1 because Yeti was adding on a lot of Dragoons, but of course, with these gateways, he's going to be able to pump a lot of units out, and funnily enough, Yeti has given up that high ground position, and this could actually hurt him. Looks like V1 is going to move down now. Is he going to go for the smaller amp or the bigger one? Of course, the Reaver's going to do a lot of damage here when it does come to the engagement, but he needs to be careful not to get the shuttle sniped. It does not have speed yet. Not sure if he is researching that, but here we go. Looks like V1 wants to pull the trigger. The Reavers have been dropped. Units on both sides of this engagement. Zealots from one side, not going to be able to block the Zealots from the other, and the Zealots getting immediately on top of everything. Storm goes down on the Reaver, trying to get the shuttle as well. One of the Reavers going down Storm, but this is such a close engagement, and it's so hard to tell what units are what players. And here we go, it looks like Yeti with the overwhelming numbers is going to be able to push through. He's going to try and push up now. Of course, we do have Storm back home for V1, but this is going to be a lot of damage. He lost most of his units there, does not have... Oh, actually, I think he may have a gateway advantage finally. But I mean, Yeti has such an overwhelming numbers advantage now. It looks like we're going to see Yeti go for a third base as well. Looks like we see V1 trying to do that as well, but that's going to be a little bit too greedy now. He's going to have to turtle up. He's building an Archon. Oh no, this is the worst thing you could possibly do. Looks like he forgot Storm. Oh no, what a poor decision there by V1, and here we go. It looks like V1's going to try and hold on. He's going to try and push out. But there is going to be Storms on top of his units here. And this is just going to be too much for V1, or for Yeti even. I don't think V1's going to be able to hold on. Yeti pushing in with his might, and this is so much damage going down. The Archon going to help out a lot against the Zealots, but you know what? I think this is just too many units now for Yeti. Looks like we've got some more reinforcements coming in, but GG, Yeti is going to take the series 2-1. Or take the series up 2-1 against NetWars. So let's actually just bring myself back on the screen. That was a really, really cool PvP. And that's going to take us on to the fourth game of the series. This is going to be do or die for Team Liquid here. If they do not win this game, we will not be going to the ace match. The final game, of course, is going to have Big Fan in it, unlike the first game like I thought it was, but it's going to be Kingpin versus Big Fan. Now let's actually load up the replay, and while this loads up, I'm going to show the intro another time for this series, and let's get into the next game. Wrong screen. Let's go to the overlay. Okay, so for the first time this evening, we are going to have a Zerg versus Terran. It's going to be NetWars Kingpin going to be playing for match point here against Big Fan, who wants to hold on, wants to bring his team to that all-important ace match. But it's going to be a hard-fought task for him. Kingpin, a very good Zerg player, not made his debut yet in STPL for Net Wars yet. This is going to be his debut match, his debut performance, and this is a very, very important game for him to be sent out on. Now let's actually have a look at what map they're going to be playing on, and then we can switch straight on over into the game. They are going to be playing on Neo Moonglaive. Pretty good map for Terran against Zerg, I'm not gonna lie. There's been some really cool TVZs throughout Proleague history on this map. Hopefully STPL is going to prove the same. And it looks like we can actually get into the game pretty quickly now. Of course, TVZ, there's not too many stats in my database yet, but this is the stats of all my, I like to call it FESPA, the Fantasy Esports Association. All the FESPA events, the stats of the games I've cast have been in here. The stats are going to get a lot bigger because of STPL, because unlike stuff like Clash for Char, the old STPL, I'm actually going to be reporting and casting every single game, so there is going to be a lot of games still to come to you guys, by the way. I'll explain that a little bit as we get into the game, don't want to show the overlay too much, and let's actually hop into the replay and let's get going. So let's just quickly swap that over, and here we go. Starting us off in the 5 o'clock position is going to be the Brown Terran. It's going to be Big Fan fighting for his team's life this week in the STPL. And his opponent is going to be the Teal Zerg. It's going to be fighting for the win, Kingpin. Now, while we're in a little bit of a lull during this game, it looks like we won't have a 4-pool or anything crazy like that, or a 5-pool, because we're actually on 8 supply already. But this is the first round of the STPL. I know I still need to make my big post on TL explaining everything. But basically, the way the tournament works is there are four rounds, 4 sets of playoffs. Now, I think the way I'm going to do it, rather than doing any sort of crazy league points or anything, I'm going to have it that whatever team wins the playoffs for each round will be seeded into the grand finals. They will be seeded in all equally, so it's going to be equal seeds. What I'll probably have it is do the winner of, well, you know what, it's going to be a long while before we reach the grand finals. But basically, looks like Big Fan is going to try and wall off a little bit here. You can wall off, but you do need the barracks on the bottom, so this could be quite dangerous. Yeah, I think this could be a bit bad. Yeah, this is not link type, by the way. I played this map a lot, and that is 100% not link tight. But here we go. Looks like we will have nothing too crazy. We're going to have a 12 hatch coming up for Kingpin, so that's going to be pretty good. But basically, the way I'm looking at doing it is 4 rounds, 4 sets of playoffs. The winner of each playoffs will make it to the grand final, and basically the prize pool at the end. Of course, the prize pool at the moment is around $700 US, and we are 3 weeks in. There are many weeks to go, so hopefully that prize pool will grow quite a lot. And I'm hoping to put a little bit of my own money in as well. I'm saving up a little bit, but I'm not exactly the richest person. So I do thank you all for your donations and your support to the tournament. It means a lot, and that is the only problem with the way I'm thinking of doing it. So I may need to do like a league point system. What I'm going to do is I'm going to think about it. I know we're at the very beginning of the tournament, but basically it's all going to make... I need to find a way of making every round count, every round important, and make it fair in the grand finals. So I do want people to put all their effort into every single round if they can. There is 14 teams. I'm hoping all of them will stay the journey the whole way through. There is a big cash prize on the line. So unlike the first time ever on the SCPL, it was a little bit harder. I had everyone playing under anonymous names. There wasn't a prize pool. Something like Maturino didn't exist back then. And basically, a lot of players lost interest very quickly. There was no reason to really carry on other than sort of notoriety, but even then they had anonymous names, so it didn't really help them. But Big Fan is going to find out there that it's not actually link type, but he will be able to build the bunker. That will be quite nice. He was very lucky he wasn't 9-pooled though, or 4-pooled. That would have been incredibly dangerous, but looks like he is going to be safe for now. Kingpin going up 2-3 hatcheries, as you can see here, on my mouse accuracy, I don't know if you've noticed I'm misclicking a lot. Now that's because TT1 spoke to me about my mouse settings when I'm playing. Basically my DPI was set way too high. So now I'm trying to get used to the slower mouse and I'm sort of overcompensating with movement. So you actually see like a lot of weird like jankiness in my mouse movements at the moment while I'm trying to get used to it all. Possibly could have changed my DPI back while I was casting, but the SUV looks like it's doing a pretty good job juking and driving, and as I say that, it gets cursed and dies, so I'm not going to mention that about any poor scouting workers ever again. Looks like we do have Big Fan doing a decent thing. He's actually going to block off this base. There was a funny game the other day between Tai2 and his opponent, which the name has completely forgotten, or which I've completely forgotten. Basically, he built a forge in that location as part of like his, that was like his first building. I think it was against DM White. No, it was against Oz, sorry. And somehow Tai2 went to attack it rather than, well, he didn't even attack it, he just sort of left it. Here we go. If you've just tuned in, guys, we are 4 games in today, so this is the 4th game. There is 2 series being casted. This is the first of 2, so there's a lot of STPL action coming your way after this as well. Hopefully you do enjoy the casting and you do enjoy the tournament. And of course, mainly you enjoy the players, because I really want to give the players some exposure. That's why I'm doing a lot of interviews with them, doing a lot of interviews with the team captains as well. I just want to make sure everybody gets maximum amount of exposure, and here we go, Lurkers. Coming up first for Kingpin, not going to be Mutalisks. And Lurker's very good on this map. Now, as I may have said if you've checked out any of the other casts, basically this in the middle is on the high ground, there are ramps coming up to it. So Lurkers can be very strong just holding that ramp, making it very difficult for the Terran player to really move out, but Big Fan already ready, making sure there's no third base anywhere. A really nice move by him, gonna allow him to sort of figure out that maybe something crazy going on. Although he is going into full bio, we do have the stim on the way, no factory yet, engineering bay coming up as well, so it's gonna be a kind of interesting build here. He's gone for like 1 racks academy, into 2nd racks, into 3rd racks, but the stim is very late in this game, so playing a little bit greedy possibly, not playing the most standard he can, but of course it's good that every player should play their own style. Like one of the Day 9 podcasts, the early ones, he actually mentions that when you have like your style, you should just play that style and get confident with it, feel good with it, and then slowly start to appreciate everything. But here we go, looks like the 3rd barracks gonna fly back. Now this is a good reason to actually add on a 4th barracks, but he's gonna add a factory on instead. Looks like we should have range coming up immediately after stim finishes, and using the engineering bay block to try and stop any possible thirds, but doesn't look like Kingpin's really going to be going for that anytime soon. He has added a lot of lurkers. I think he's actually going up to 4 lurkers right now. I know it is going to be 3 lurkers for now. Going to add on an evolution chamber at the front as well to maybe try and help wall. Big Fan still looking around for this non-existent 3rd base. And I almost feel like Kingpin is playing a little bit too defensive here. Of course, he doesn't have full information. It's not like a Terran. He doesn't have scan, so he does have to play based on what he can see. But this Firebat's can do a lot of damage to those. But here we go. Looks like we do actually have 2 forward lurkers. I was in fact incorrect, and he may be able to actually break down this front, and this could be very dangerous. Looks like the units have been pulled back. A turret goes down immediately on both sides. But here we go. Another 3 lurkers coming in. I can't believe I missed those on the minimap. But this is going to be a very dangerous position for Big Fan to be in. It looks like Kingpin is going to try and snipe the turret, and this could be a very quick end to Big Fan and Team Liquid in this best of 5. But it looks like the lurkers shelling down on all of the SCVs now. The SCVs being pulled, but he has lost his natural right now. We have a drone actually trying to take the 3rd base, going to attack the thing. Do we have a slow? Oh wow, we actually have a slow lurker drop coming in the main as well, and this is so obnoxious to deal with. A lot of the units have gone down trying to defend the front. He cannot repair the bunker, and he has absolutely nothing back here to defend this. This is one of the reasons why I don't like the replay overlay, because I wouldn't have known that was coming. But here we go, taking control of the bottom of the Terran player's ramp. How on earth has he got vision up there? But here we go, another two lurkers moving in, gonna run into the bunker. Really nice usage of the bunker there, but here we go, the drops have gone down. Looks like we do have the two lurkers here. 7 kills, 8 kills on this lurker, 6 on the other one. Such huge damage being done. 18 kills, that's another 3. That is 21 kills. Pretty much every single SCV of Big Fan is going down. He's trying to add a second scanner on, but Big Fan cannot do anything. He cannot defend his bases. He didn't see it. Oh my god, Kingpin with the offensive GG. I don't think he did it deliberately, but there we go. No GG yet from Big Fan. He's going to try and hold on. Pulling off the fantasy GG. He still has SCVs that can mine. Looks like he's going to try and hold his ramp, clear up the lurkers at the back. But this is a lot of damage going down. He does not have the perfect splits. And this final lurker with 13 kills, getting at his 14th. The lurkers and the Hydras moving up. Oh my god. Morphing the lurkers next to the bunker. Such a huge deal. Gonna allow us... Oh, wait. That actually means the lurker's still gonna go down. But trying to repair, but he's got no SCVs mining. This repair is not gonna last very long. But the lurker in the main still alive. Not actually attacking the scanner, interestingly enough. But I mean, Big Fan is trying to hold on. He's trying to play valiantly. He knows his team's tournament life is on the line here. He doesn't want to give up. He wants to take it to the ace match, but unfortunately, it's not going to be enough. Everything goes down, and GG! Kingpin is going to win the game for his team 3-1. Really, really nicely well executed all in there by Kingpin. He never once tried to... Well, I say never once tried to take a third base, but he did at the very end. As you saw there on the left-hand side of the screen. But that was a really cool series. There was a lot of really good games. There was a lot of long macro games as well. A lot of games in the SCPL so far have been quite cheesy, especially in week 1, I think, where people were getting used to the maps. They were trying to abuse the fact maybe the other players hadn't practiced the maps as much, not too sure. But as you can see, we're kind of normalizing getting some normal games on the round 1 maps, which is really cool to see. I'm just going to report the game, bring up the results screen, then quickly pop for a very short break so I can sort out the overlay for the next game and get a new glass of water. The reason why I keep looking to the right is my drinks are there and my other screen with the chat is on the right. But here we go. Let's report this for Kingpin. Let's report it for Net Wars. And let's have a look at the replay, the results screen for this series, just to catch everyone up. Of course, all the VODs of the previous games will be going up on my YouTube after the cast, probably tomorrow morning, I would guess, just because I want to play some of the new maps on ladder after this, so that should be pretty fun. But let's actually head on over to the overlay, have a look at the results from that series. There is another series coming up, guys, so don't go anywhere. Will be a lot of fun. But as you can see, Net Wars taking their second win in the SCPL. 2-4-0 right now for Net Wars, so they're doing pretty well. Team Liquid gonna go down 2-1-2 at the moment, but Flash of the win, pulling off a really nice game, giving them a little bit of pride, a little bit of hope moving forward in the tournament. And Net Wars with a very strong team once again. Koga starting them off strong, Yeti and Kingpin finishing it off even stronger. And that is going to be that for this series. Now let me actually quickly take a couple of minute break, guys. I'm going to load up the next replay, sort out the next overlay, because I need to add all the other teams in. It's going to be... who is it? It is going to be SouL versus aSh, so there's going to be a lot of good players coming up. Players like Scan, Miso, let me double check, Goody. Yeah, just tune in, guys. Stay tuned in, don't go anywhere. And I will be back in 5 minutes or so. I need to really turn down the follow notifications, but thank you very much for the follows. Thank you, Manolete. I don't know if I said that right, for subscribing to my YouTube channel as well. And I will be back in about 5 minutes. See you soon. Hopefully this is the right one. Let's actually just update this as well. And I will see you very shortly, guys. Okay guys, we are back with the STPL once again. As I said, that wasn't the only series we'd be seeing today. This is going to be the second series. It's going to be SouL versus aSh. And this is going to be a very, very cool series. Now, the map order is slightly different. There was one walkover in the series. I'm not going to tell you the result of that. We're going to wait until the fourth game to find out whether or not the walkover would have come into effect or not. Unfortunately, I do not have Scan versus Goody. Goody didn't show again. So hopefully the aSh captain will be able to get on top of Goody and tell him to make sure he shows up for his games, because this is the second time this has happened, I believe. So need to be careful with that. Oh, hey Nassel. Okay, let's actually just head on over to the overlay, just so we can have a look at exactly who the teams are going to be. I know I just introduced them, but more for the benefit of the people watching the VOD, so I'll probably cut off the first little bit. But here we go, let's head in to the overlay, let's see what matchup's coming. We are going to have SouL Gaming versus aSh. Now, aSh haven't had the strongest showing yet. SouL Gaming have only played one game. They did have a bye, much like NetWars did in week 2. So this is going to be their second match, and they are sending out a very strong roster here. And let's have a look at the maps we are going to be seeing once again for week 3. This is the final time you will see the maps in this order, most likely. Maybe in week 7, I'm not too sure of how the rotation is going to work. I think if it rotates enough, we will get back to this, but I think it's not going to make it back in round 1. But we're going to start with Gladiator for set 1. Set 2 is going to be Polaris Rhapsody. Set 3, Grand Line SE. Set 4, Neo Moonglaive. And Set 5, Judgment Day. Now, it's going to be slightly different, so we're going to start with Set 1 on Polaris, Set 2 Grand Line, Set 3 Neo Moonglaive, Set 4 Gladiator, and then Judgment Day. Should have probably changed that in the overlay, but you know what? It doesn't really matter. And okay, well, because I didn't fix that, this is actually wrong. Let me just quickly bring my... I'm going to fix it, just because I want to make sure the production value is pretty good for this. Let me just bring my face back up. I'll be literally like 2 seconds to swap that around. So I need to switch... Wait, no I don't. I know exactly what I need to do. I'm being very silly right now. So Grand Line would have been the third map, so it's going to be the second one. This is the sort of moment, guys, where it would be so much easier if I was like a big team of people. But just to remind you, I'm a one-man band doing this, and you know what? I enjoy it so much. I don't mind that I sometimes get things a little bit wrong. Like, it's very hard to do everything yourself, so I like to think I'm doing a good job. But thank you very much for the follows and everything, and all the support. If you can make sure you support all the players as well. But I've updated everything, so let's move back to the overlay to finish off what I was saying before. We're going to start off on Polaris Rhapsody. That's going to be a TBT between Ultra and Tet, the first TBT we've had in the SDPL. And if I'm going to be honest, I'm actually right about it being a TBT this time. But I would like to point out that I have never imagined in my life that I would see a TBT in a foreign tournament. I know we've seen a lot of them recently, but when I first came back into the scene in 2015, well, I hadn't ever really gone anywhere, but I'd never really organised any tournaments or anything. Everyone was Zerg. Like, it was ZVZ all day long, every single game, ZVZ. Every once in a while you get a ZVP, and that was interesting, right? But I'm a Terran player, and I love TBT, right? And it was a long time before I started seeing TBTs again. Now, of course, like, you had people like Terra and Dandy. They didn't really go into that many tournaments when I was first back in 2015. So, and then of course Dandy doesn't play TBT, he plays PBT. It was only when we first started seeing people like Marwin back, people like Gargoyle, people like Cryok, people like SPX. Like, when they started coming back, more and more TBTs started happening, and I got to see them. But here we go. Let's have a look at the players. Wait, is there a thing I've missed? No, there isn't. Let's have a look at the players. As I said, we're going to be starting with the TBT. It's going to be Ultra versus Ter. Now, Ter has actually won one, lost one. Ultra has only played one game so far, and he did lose that. So, unfortunately, This is going to be his redemption match, so if he can win this, he'll be feeling pretty good. He'll bring himself back to 1-1, 50% win rate. Of course, as I said before, these stats are going to go up as the tournament progresses. The versus opponent's race I'm going to fix as well. I don't know why that's broken. It should be working. But you know what, let's have a look at the map. And as I said, we're going to be starting on Polaris Rhapsody. There was a walkover game 1. I'm not going to say the result of it until it matters. So we're going to go for a blank slate, 0-0 to start with, and Polaris is going to be your first map here, 2-player map, double gas in the top right and bottom left. Going to be really, really interesting for TBT. There has been some really, really cool TBTs on this map. 2 of the standout ones, if I remember correctly, were Fantasy versus Lita, where I believe they both went 4 wraiths, and the other one was Fantasy versus Flash. That was really, really good. Well worth going back and watching those maps. Polaris was an MSL map originally, I think, and then it did make its way into the Pro League in 2010. So, really cool map. Gonna be really cool to see how this plays out in TBT, and hopefully you are going to enjoy the journey as much as me. Let's quickly turn off the music here, and let's go into the game. Let me quickly make sure I hide the playback menu, and let's get going, guys. Actually, just want to quickly check that I've not put it to... Yeah, it's on fastest, guys. Just wanted to make sure. And here we go, starting us off in the top left corner. You are going to have the player Te playing for aSh. Well, I believe they call themselves aSh Gaming. I'm not too sure. But, spawning in the bottom right, it is going to be the Red Terran. It's going to be playing for SouL, Ultra. Times 16. I'm not times 16ing. You know what? TBT is a great matchup, guys. You're not the people... You're not the people who are going to be casting for an hour. Like, think of me. I love TBT, though. Like, you know what? If you don't like TBT, please feel free to leave the stream running in the background. Alt-tab for a little bit. I'll make sure someone gives you a poke and then you can come back for the next game. But you know what? TBT is going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to hype this up. Hopefully it's going to be an exciting TBT as well. Yes, I do understand there can be some very, very boring TBTs. But even the TBTs that look boring, there's a lot of micromanagement going on, a lot of strategic decision making as well. And it's a very, very deep matchup with so many different openings available for both players. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what openings they both go for. Of course, they could very well go for mirror openings. Looks like Ultra is going to build his barracks to the very edge of his base, going to allow him to scout out with that a lot quicker. Te building his a little bit back. And it looks like a load of people have actually tuned off because of TBT. Oh man. But yeah, looks like we are going to have gas for both players, so we're not going to see any 1-Rax FE or anything like that. Looks like we will have Ultra and Tez scouting exactly the same time as well. Looks like Tez scouts out of his base a little bit quicker. Of course, that is affected by the way the units move through like the mineral lines and everything like that. But pretty cool so far. I mean... I'm glad there's someone in the chat who doesn't mind TBT. I know Navani is a TBT player, or a Terran player from what I understand, so he probably likes TBT because of that. I know there are a lot of race pickers who avoid TBT, but I'm not one of them, and I'm glad someone else likes mirror matchups. Now, there is one other person who really loves mirror matchups. I've not seen him pop up in the chat, but he's a Finnish Protoss player called Rota. Or Rota. He does really, really hate, he really hates TBT, but he absolutely loves PvP. It's his favourite matchup in the entire game. And I'm fairly certain every time there's a PvP I call him out because I'm like, he would really like this game. But he is going to be hosting a tournament himself tomorrow. That's going to be it. Okay, so this is going to be the confusing part. It's going to be 1300 GMT plus 2. Now, I believe that means it's going to be 1 o'clock finish time, which is going to be 12 PM normal or Central European savings time, which is what this was, 9 PM obviously. It's going to be in the morning. He did it on Sunday last week, but it's going to be cool. It's an Alta's Weird Map League, and it's going to be the second day of playoffs, I believe. I made it to the first round but fell out there. But there's still a lot of really good players in the tournament. There's some really, really weird and old maps. He's got a lot of like the Blizzard map of the week maps from like 1998 and stuff like that in there. They're really crazy. The games are absolutely bonkers, so please do tune in for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, in the evening, we will have BSL with Zero. Once again, I'm going to go through all these events again at the end of the stream, but looks like we'll have the Scouting SUV going down for Tear there. Both of them going for pretty mirror builds. We do actually have no units coming up for Ultra yet. I called him Radley for some reason. But we do have a very, very quick tank coming up for Tear. Is his command center on the same speed? It's actually going to be ahead of Ultra. So it looks like Ultra building an extra couple of Marines, going to slow down his command center. But yeah, there's a lot of events coming up over this weekend. There's a lot of events in general in Brood War, guys. And of course, during the week now, as well as the other STPL casts, it's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday next week. Maybe Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm not really too sure. Depends on when I'm going to be in work. Depends what shift I'm on. But I'll figure that out and sort of post it all in the thread. But basically, there is on Monday going to be the Brood War Clan League Grand Finals for Season 44, I believe they're on now, which is insane. And on Wednesday, it's going to be a very late night for Europe. I think it started at like 2 AM last week for me. But you're going to have the Pylon Show with Artosis and In Control. Now, if you didn't watch it last week, do give it a watch, do give it a listen through the podcast. I know it was mostly StarCraft 2 content, but they did talk about Brood War a little bit. They explained why they don't talk about Brood War as much as they want to. But you know what, that's what me, Zero, Sham2, all the other content creators in Brood War are here for. We're here to create good content. Hopefully you enjoy it as much as I enjoy doing it for you. But basically, we want to create content that's good enough for them to want to talk about. So let's try and build the Brood War scene. Yeah, I know we don't have IEM, we don't have Zotac, we don't have ESL, we don't have DreamHack. You know what? Who needs them? We've got the community. We need to make the community bigger. That's why you got to tune into all the events that are going on. Show your support for them on Twitter. Retweet that they're going to be on and stuff. Try and get as many viewers into the scene as possible. And you know what? That's going to make it better for everyone. And it's going to give Artosis and In Control something to get excited about. And that's something that the Brood War scene is severely missing right now. And of course, Sunday is going to be ASL, so don't forget that as well. Now, going back into this game, we do actually have both players going for a lot of tank and vulture, so we're going to have a lot of mobile action early in the game. Only one vulture so far by Ultra though. Looks like he's focused way more on getting his tanks up. Second factory was a little bit quicker there for Tear. Both of them, interestingly, staying on 2 factory for now. We don't have any starports coming on. Both of them have added their armory. This is to be against rates, of course. After the very beginning of the game, you don't really have too much you can do with your scouting. But here we go, looks like Ultra are going to move out. Going to see that there is an army coming for his natural, and this is going to be very hard to hold on to. This is a lot of vultures, a lot of tanks. Looks like the vultures are moving forward, trying to lay the mines. Can the mines go off? This could be pretty huge, but no! Ultra gets back in time. But if one of the players here can get a good position to siege in... Oh my god, this is so bad for Ultra. He's moving into the mines. A huge mine drag! And that is going to be a lot of damage done. And it looks like another tank coming in from the top. They're going to even up the score just a little bit. And Tear is not going to be able to push the natural, but he is going to be able to take a position over this mineral only. And of course, the all-important double gas in the bottom right. Double gas base is going to be huge in TBT, allows you to build up that tank Goliath force and dropships a lot quicker. And of course you can go for race on this map, very, very strong choice. We have 4 factories coming up for Tear. Not a massive fan of this factory placement, would prefer to see the factory over here, and maybe 1 hex to the right here, just to allow him to build more machine shops. But looks like he's going to be focusing on Tank Vulture for a while. Of course, the 2 easily accessible bases are going to be mineral onlys. So interestingly, Tear has taken, or has given up his position over this location here. Gonna allow Ultra actually to move out over there, but Ultra looks like he wants to do a little bit of his own shenanigans here. Of course, the barracks chasing each other around for some reason, gonna give them both vision. Now, there is going to be a lot of mines being placed down over here, but what is Ultra going to be doing here? Is he going to try and secure the top right-hand corner very, very quickly? Is he going to try and start mining on the on TE's side of the map? Of course, there is two ways this map can split. You can either see it split horizontally, due to the fact you do have this bridge and this high ground, and then of course you do have this high ground, which makes it very hard to push down and up. Same with this side, of course. Or you can see it split vertically, and this looks like it could be a vertical split here, as both of them look to be trying to cut each other off. But Te is going to find himself completely out of position. This is a huge amount of damage, a really, really nice position here for Ultra, as he is going to be able to sit on top of the natural. Now, surprisingly, Te's pulled away all of his SCVs. I don't think the tanks can actually hit these. He needs to start repairing his command center, and he needs to start mining his gas if he wants to find himself an advantage. Here we go. Vultures actually running past. All of the tanks have been pulled back. They're actually running into the tanks. They're not really doing too much, but nice Vulture gonna be able to take down one of the tanks here. But this is a lot of damage going down. I think these tanks here, well, this tank especially, got hit by a mine. And Ultra is in a commanding position strategically and positionally in this game. Of course, Te does have mines all over the place, but he is going to be burning the minerals of Te here. Oh, this could be dangerous. He's actually going to siege out just outside of sight range and range in general. Of course, the sight range is going to be harder for him to breach now with this barracks here. He's not going to have any anti-air. Doesn't look like he's even adding any Goliaths to push this away. Looks like he's going to go for his own counterattack with some Vultures, but looks like Ultra is going to be prepared for this, showing positionally he's a very, very sound player in TVT, and showing he's very, very strong here. Now, I know Te plays a lot of Protoss on ladder. He's trolled me a lot on ladder with it, so I don't know how practiced he is in the TVT matchup, but both of them doing a lot of damage to each other, actually. Just trying to get any positional edge they can. Interestingly, only 2 machine shops for our TL Terran. We do have 3 for Ultra. He's going to add his third command center, look to build his third gas at this base. So it does look like he wants to split it vertically, but slowly but surely this one Wraith is going to be able to take down everything in this top corner. There was no turrets built here, no Goliaths or anything. And here we go, the third base has actually been scouted by Ultra. He's going to build a lot of mines here, even a single tank, doing what it can to try and block some of these Vultures away. Going to be able to get 2 of them, and the Vulture's going to be able to clean up everything else. And unfortunately for Te, he is most likely going to lose this command center. He's either going to have to cancel it, but here we go. Looks like he cancelled it immediately, but he's going to trap a lot of the units of Ultra down here. This is pretty huge. But no, he's not going for the trap for some reason. He's going to try and take the high ground. Going to move back at the same time, of course. He does need to be careful. He does see... Wow, this one tank running away. Look how slowly tanks die to Wraiths, guys. This is not a joke. Looks like we actually have the barracks going down here as well, but lots of back and forth in this TVT so far. Been very, very exciting. A nice mine going down, but doesn't get both the tanks. He could have got both the tanks there if the mines had split up. But unfortunately for Ultra, he's not going to get that little advantage. Strangely, Ultra taking a position across the bridges, doesn't want to give up the position here. But this position's almost a moot point. It's better to actually just defend here and move up onto this high ground. But Ultra coming in with a lot of units, coming in from both angles on this siege line. How is the target fire by Te? Looks like it's pretty good so far. Gonna take out a lot of the tanks, but there we go. A huge tank volley. Gonna take out the remaining tanks for Te, and this could be a very, very dangerous position. Of course, Ultra is gonna have to try and push over this bridge. And this is why I say this position's a bit of a moot point. But here we go. Wraith coming in. Gonna die to the units. Not the best of siege lines here, but he is going to make it impossible with 1 or 2 tanks to really push through this bridge. Both of them going to be trying to set up a position here. Vulture's getting on top of these back tanks. Going to be a nice mine here. Nothing really he can do about this, but no, keeps it alive. Keeps that tank alive with 9 health. So close. That could have gone either way, but those 2 or 3 tanks, 4 tanks actually, enough to completely negate this push over the bridge. And it looks like once again we have Ultra moving across to the right. We have a single Wraith still chasing around this tank. I think the 1 tank did go down. This Wraith actually on 4 kills. But the third gas is going to be able to go up for Ultra. And looks like we're going to have Tear being the one who's planning to push across the bridge. A lot of the units have been pulled away. I don't understand why he's taking this position. He should have tried to expand again. But Tear trying to break the contain that is in the middle of the map. But positionally, the middle of the map, not too important on this map actually. Would have preferred him to go to this top right, secure this base, but unfortunately it looks like he's trying to split the map vertically. He thinks that is going to be the way to do it. He's trying to secure this base over here. Of course, he did have a command center over here, so that's going to be very important for him. Looks like we have some vultures trying to take out the tanks. Nicely done with the tanks coming in from behind. And here we go. This is the first time we have Tear with the better position here. It's going to be high ground versus low ground, but Tear isn't sieging. He's unsieged. If he was sieged there, that could have been entirely different. But it looks like Ultra with the better position. Well, actually, it's still better positioning for Tear, but he does need to get into repairing some of these tanks. Needs to take this mineral only as well. And Vulture's going to be moving across the map now. The third base up for Ultra, of course. Looks like he should be heading towards his fourth base soon as well. Going to try and avoid as many supply blocks he can. But units just absolutely everywhere for Ultra. He just really does want to try and split the map the best he can. He's going to try and split the map with like a... I would say this is like a 70-30 split. Block him off from the other gases. He of course does have units up here on the high ground with the mines, going to make it very, very difficult to break up. And he does have these units here and these mines here trying to block off the Terran from his extra gases. But it looks like we are going to have a vertical split here. We do have Tear trying to move through the middle again, but this is going to be high ground versus low ground action here. Once again, a nice mine on the... Oh, he needs to target the mines. He doesn't. A nice mine again. And Tear losing once more the majority of his army, and that's going to be too much. GG! Ultra is going to take a very action-packed TBT there in the first game. I mean, really, really nicely played by both of them, but Ultra just showing he is more positionally sound. I know he did practice the map quite a lot from what I understand, so... and he's also got really, really nice TBT practice partners. Even if he can't practice with Scan, he can practice with Dandy and Terra, who are the best foreign Terrans. So Ultra doing a really, really good job there, showing he had pretty strong TBT. And that's actually going to take SouL 1-0 up in the series. And that's going to lead us on to our second game. I'm just going to load up the next replay and then we can get going. I'm going to show the intro while I do that. So I'll see you guys in just a moment. Okay guys, we are back and in a slight change. Looks like there was a substitute in the match. I didn't notice that before I set up all the overlay. So I am just going to quickly have to add a player to aSh, it looks like. I don't think he was actually in the roster before. I'm just going to double check. No, he wasn't. So let me just quickly add him to my database. Should only take just 1 second. It's going to be a ZVP in this second game, so it's not going to be another mirror. And it looks like I was wrong about the walkover. They did actually sub out Goody, but that was played as the third game anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. But Bal is a Protoss player. He's going to be playing for aSh, and then he is going to be against SouL's Richley. So let me just quickly update the overlay. I just need to make sure I've reported the previous game. Just because I didn't report that last time and it made the overlay a bit of a mess. But should be pretty good. So let's actually just quickly finish setting up everything. And we should be good to go now. I hope you are all enjoying the series that you're seeing so far. And all of the games. If you don't know already, I do cast this 3 times a week. The game day is on Sunday. The reason why I don't cast any of the games live is just because due to the nature of the tournament, due to the fact there are a lot of worldwide players all over the place, it's a little bit harder to organise everyone to be in one place at one time. But be assured, with the playoffs, the playoff finals and the grand finals, they will all be live. I'm going to see if I can get a co-caster in with me for those as well. And they're going to be best of 7, so it's going to be a lot of fun when we get to them. Of course, the whole tournament so far has been really fun for me as well, so that's one of the reasons why I do it. I have a lot of fun bringing you these events, giving you all someone to cheer for, and I really, really do want to make the game better for the players, make the scene a little bit healthier, and give them a reason to play, and that's why I do so many interviews and everything with them. Now, I actually set up the overlay incorrectly. I put Miso, it's actually going to be Richley. And apparently I didn't add Richley, so I need to add him as well. It's going well today, but you know what, it's Friday, it's the weekend. I'm allowed to make mistakes every once in a while. As I said, I am a one-man band, so let's actually just quickly update that and we can get into the overlay to have a look at the next game. Luckily enough, I don't need to show the other part of the overlay, so everything else should be fine. I need to regenerate the top as well. And let's actually just have a look at our players, and we can go from there. So if I bring up this menu here, should be pretty good. I really do want to find a better way of working out music, so I don't have to improve on music and stuff over everything. But we can sort all that out another day. I've got plenty of time to sort it. This is going to be a very, very long tournament, and it's going to be a lot of fun the whole way through. So please do continue tuning in. Okay, so starting us off, we do have, well, not starting us off, but in this game, we do have a ZVP. It's going to be between SouL Gaming's Richley. This is going to be his debut game for SouL. He joined the roster a couple of weeks ago. I just forgot to add him to the database. It's not over. There's still at least one game to go after this one. And his opponent is going to be the Protoss Bal. Or Bal? You know what? I'm going to be saying that wrong the whole time. I'm going to call him Bal because calling him Ball seems wrong. So Bal is going to be the Protoss player. This is going to be his debut match for aSh as well. Richley, of course, a strong Korean Zerg, has been beaten by foreigners before. Not too sure about Bal or his location, but if anyone does know who he is in chat, please do say who he is and introduce him a bit, because I actually do not know. And the map of the game is going to be Grand Line SE. ZVP showing to be pretty Zerg favoured so far, but we've had some very weird and interesting games, and hopefully this is going to be one of them. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the second game of the series, and let's get watching a great PvZ. Okay, so starting us off in the top right position, fighting for aSh, we do have the blue Protoss, Bal. Oh, it's WGT Bal. I've seen his name before. I know who he is now. Thank you. When you said WGT, it made sense. But in the bottom right, in the 5 o'clock position, we're going to have his opponent. It's going to be the Zerg, fighting for SouL. It's Richley. Now, Richley, a very cool player. He's played in a lot of my tournaments so far. Bal, I think, has played in a few of them as well, now I remember. But Richley appeared and won a couple of the Clash for Chars that I did. Now, overall, I think I did about 14 Clash for Chars, including the Christmas one. The reason, if you're wondering where the Clash for Chars gone, it's not that I don't want to do them anymore. It's just that there isn't really a need for it right now. When I was doing it... Bael. Oh. Okay, Bael. Okay, you know what, let's try that, Bael. WGT Bael. Hopefully, I'm probably saying it wrong anyway. It's because I'm British and I'm from Essex, so it doesn't make any sense. But basically, the Clash for Char is on hiatus for now. I've always been more of a fan of a team league, and obviously this eats a lot of my time. I put a lot of hours into this. I believe on 2 of my days off from work, I spent about 4 hours a day trying to put together the intro video. It took me a long time to figure out what I was doing. We're going to have double scout coming out for Bael. Maybe I should check on the Wikipedia thing afterwards, just to see if there's like a pronunciation thing. Looks like we have TT1 and Jordani telling each other to die. Very, very normal for both of them. Jordani, Cuba's infamous player. Not actually in the tournament. He was in the CPL and Rota's Weird Map League. They did leave both of them for some reason. Tournament's not good enough for him. But either way, basically we have a cannon coming up for Bael. He is going to go for the Forge first. Going to be able to expand. He does need to build the first cannon. He does know there's Zerglings on the way. He can't be too greedy. Now, is Richley going to actually see the probe? He's not, so the probe is going to be able to get away with a pretty nice scout. Oh, now he's going to show it. Going to see the Lings leaving, so he does know that there is actually something going on that's going to make him pretty happy. We do actually have a secondary probe hidden now over to the left. I think maybe he's not as confident about keeping his probe alive as, say, someone like Best is, or Bisu or something like that. I mean, Bisu probes basically have 10,000 health, so there's not really too much you can do. I have played Diablo 2, but I played it a long, long time ago. Is it Bael? But either way, not too worried about that. But we do have the pylon coming up in the main. No gateway yet. Looks like that will be the next building for Bael. You know what? Just while I have a lull in the game, let me just see if I can learn how to pronounce this. Okay, there's no, like, sound thing. Wait. I wonder if it's in the Oxford English Dictionary here. Nope. You know what? I'm not gonna know how to say this. This does bother me. Not knowing how to say the word makes me feel a little bit self-conscious. But back to the game. We have the gateway coming up. We have the Nexus, and I am showing the playback menu the whole time, and I didn't realize. Hopefully that's not spoiled too much. I didn't even look, but here we go. It looks like we do have Richley building up. He's going up to his third hatchery, as you can see down here at the mineral only, of course. On Grand Line, you do not have an easily accessible third gas unless you do go for the island. And we do have a probe. It's going to be able to go down and scout this out fairly shortly. A couple of overlords dotted about on the map just to see exactly what's going on. And I will check that out after the game. I don't want to sort of ruin the observing in the game. Of course, there are going to be people watching on the VOD wondering why I'm complaining about how to say this one word. But we do have a lair on the way with a Hydralisk Den at the same time. Could see some lurkers here. Could see an early Spire. Well, not an early Spire, normal Spire. Just to make sure you don't lose too much to Corsairs. But here we go. We have a lot of Lings moving out on the map. Has Bael done a proper job of walling here? Looks like he does have the two Zealots here to block. That should be a fairly tight wall here that he has. But I believe this is actually open. I can never remember how Protoss walls work, so should be interesting to see if the Zerglings get in. We do have a Citadel of Adun coming up. That's going to be scouted immediately by the Overlord here. I should have listened more. Like when he said stay a while and listen, I just didn't do it. But we have two proxy gateways, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be a proxy Templar Archives as well. This is going to be proxy DT. He is going to go for the sneaky, sneaky win here. And this could be a very, very dangerous position for Richley to be in if Richley does not scout this. There's no Overlords going in to the other place, and if you're looking for Deckard Kane now, he is in, well, he's going to be in Heroes of the Storm soon. That's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to actually play as him. But Richley going to be a little bit worried about what's going on. He's not going to see, oh, this is clever. Bael is adding a Stargate, making it look like he's going for Stargate play, and he cancels it. Look at that, as soon as Richley's out of vision range, he cancels the Stargate to try and trick Richley into doing the wrong thing. But Richley is building up a lot of Hydralisks outside the front of the base here, and there's not that many cannons. This could be very, very dangerous. The first two DTs are on the way, but can he hold on long enough to actually deal with this? He's going to add on another cannon, but I don't think this is going to be enough here. This could lead to being a very, very weird base trade, I think. There's no static defense, no units back home to defend. But here we go, the Hydralisks are on the wall. The Zealots are coming out to deal with this, and this is going to allow the Lynx to actually run past with speed. We don't see any additional cannons coming up for Bael. Is this going to be too much? We have some DTs going in, though. They're going to be able to sneak in to the mineral line. They're going to be swiped by an Overlord, though. But these Hydras are going to get on top of the cannons. The other cannons are not finished. I believe this is going to be a really weird base trade. We actually have 5 kills, 6 kills, 7 kills, and finally 8 kills on that Dark Templar. And the other one is going to go into the main. He's going to have to try and slice down on the Hydras, but he's losing his natural expansion. This is not the best of trades. He's lost his only gateway over on this side of the map. He cannot build a DT here to defend. This is all or nothing on the DTs, and one of them has gone down already. We have some Zealots coming out. He's going for the base trade, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. How is he going to hold his ramp with no units? He needs to add more cannons here or something, but he's lost his forge. Well, he nearly has. He's going to lose +1. He doesn't cancel it. And this is so unfortunate. It looks like the Zealots are going in. Looks like we have the DTs going. Where are the DTs? Did they die? I guess the DTs must have died, but here we go. Richley looks like he's going to take the win. He's been able to defend. He's got units back at home. That's one thing that Bael severely misses. GG! And Richley is going to just slightly outdo Bael in this game. I mean, Bael went for something very, very sneaky. He went for a gambit. It didn't pay off. That does happen sometimes. And unfortunately, that sort of game is the result. That was a very quick PvZ. But that's going to take us on to our third game, which is going to feature Scan, and it's going to be on Gladiator. The game that was a walkover was Neo Moonglaive. I'm not actually... I think I know what the result of that walkover was. But basically, we won't announce that till the end. We're going to watch the third game. We're going to see if aSh can take it to the ace match. But let me just very, very quickly... let's just very quickly watch this.
Bael.
Bael. Oh, it's Bael. Okay. Bael. That makes sense. Bael. Bael sounds cooler. Bael sounds like something out of Stargate or something. Wow. You know what? This is funny. In the comments of that, there's people saying it. Like, oh, this isn't how you do it, this is how you do it. But either way, I'm going to set up the overlay and the next replay for the next game. So let me just quickly bring up the intro once again, and let's go into the next game in the series, possibly the final game in the series. SouL are, of course, 2-0 up at the moment. Can they make it 3-0? Or are we going to go to an ace match with the help of a walkover? I'm not really sure what way the walkover is going to go, so I'm not going to say anything just yet. But let's bring up the intro, I'll load up the replay, and let's get going, guys. Okay guys, welcome back. Just quickly finishing off the overlay. Here we go, let's actually head on over to look at who the players are going to be, what map we're going to. I know it's a blank screen at the moment. Don't mind that. And here we go. Okay, I nearly said spawning in the top left as if I'd started. But there is a player in the top left. Spoilers! But yeah, we're going to have Scan versus Dentag. It's going to be another TVP. There's been a lot of Terran games today. And as a Terran main, I must admit that makes me very happy. It's nice to see that some teams do have some Terrans on their roster, because we have seen a lot of ZVZ, PvP, and CVP in this tournament. And you know what? If you told me that 5 years ago... No, actually, Like, go back to when I was watching Brood War, right? When Brood War was massive still. It was 2008, I just started watching. I'd just seen, like, the Stork versus Fantasy Incra OSL finals. And I watched Pro League for the first time, and I saw a ZVP. I was like, I hadn't even started playing the game at that point, but I'd already decided to play Terran, because I'd fallen in love with Fantasy's playstyle. But I was like, oh my god, ZVP is so boring, man. Like, why would anyone watch this? And you know what? Over the years, I hated it. It got to 2012, I still hated it. Got to about 2015, I still kind of hated it again. But then in 2015, I started casting, I started seeing more ZVPs. And the only ZVPs I liked watching were the ones where B2 and Best were playing, and Rain as well, because I was an SKT fanboy, Paralyzed 2, and obviously ZVPs which had S2, SouL, Saskri, all the SKT players I'd watch. It didn't matter what the matchup was, but let's actually head on to look at the map. I'll explain more about this when we get into the game, when we're in a bit of a lull at the start, but as you can see, Scan winning his first game. Dentag, this is going to be his debut game. We're going to be on Gladiator. It's going to be a lot of fun. TVP on Gladiator slightly favours, or at least... Okay, so in 2010 when this map came out for the Bacchus OSL 2010 Star League, this map heavily favoured Protoss, but the game's evolved since then. Terrans are doing much better, and it's not so one-sided anymore, so it's good that it's back. It's also one of the ladder maps, guys. So if you do play Terran or you do play Protoss, do make notes of this game, of how, especially Terran, do make notes of how you should be playing this map. Likely going to see 1rex FE from Scan, but let's head on over to the game screen. I've talked, rambled on enough and as much, and Pino is trolling in chat. Mods ban? No, don't actually ban him. But here we go. Let's go into the game. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's Scan versus Dentag. And starting us off in the top left 10 o'clock position, we do have the red Protoss. It's going to be Dentag. And spawning in the top right position, we have his opponent. It's going to be the one, the only, SouL's Scan. And he is going to be spawning as the Peach Terran. So I got the colours the wrong way around on the overlay, so let me just very quickly fix that. As you can see, very quickly done with my poorly coded overlay there, but this should be a very cool PvT. Now back to my train of thought. I was an SKT fanboy, so any games they played in I watched. I was also at home a lot of the time back then, because of my personal situation, and but at the time anyway I wasn't working and things like that. I was doing some other stuff. Studying and things like that. So every morning, basically every single morning, Pro League would be on about 10 AM for me, I think it was. I believe there were some days, I think it was Wednesday if I remember rightly, it started at like 4 AM, so I had to I had to miss it. But every day that I could watch Pro League, I watched it when SKT were playing. And I slowly started to appreciate CVZ and PVZ a little bit more and more. And then when I started casting my own games, I kind of had no choice but to start liking ZVP, because as I said, back in 2015 there was a lot of Zergs and a lot of Protoss in the foreign scene. But not really that much from anyone else really. But here we go, looks like we are going to have a gas from Scan, so he isn't going to be going for a 1rex FE. Maybe he doesn't want to take that risk. Of course, Scan is going to know that, I mean, realistically, whoever he comes across, depending on the team, like in aSh, I would say whoever he comes across, he's going to be the favoured player to begin with. And maybe he just wants to play a little bit safer, a little bit more conservative, making sure that he doesn't die to anything stupid. It's very easy to die as Terran if you go for 1rex FE. There's like the proxy 3-gate, so you go 1 gateway in your main and build 3 gates proxied. That's a very strong, viable rush, of course. We saw from Snow in the ASL against, I believe it was C. Or it was either C or Mong, I can't remember. He just built a robo right on one of the edges of these pizza wedges on the third base and just walked the Reaver up and killed the bunker. So there's a lot of ways to die on this map early on, and Scan wants to play a little bit safer. Of course, he could also go for an all-in himself, Now, the cool thing to note about Scan is he doesn't spam. Like, I'm trying to stop myself spamming when I play, but it's so hard to break that habit. Like, spamming really doesn't help. Oh, yeah, it was last. Sorry, it was last versus Snow. That was a really cool game. You should watch it. But, of course, if you don't know, there's a lot of events coming up. I'm going to spend a few minutes at the end of the stream just going through what the events are, where you can find them. What I'm going to start doing from next week onwards is create a graphic as well to show at the very end of the stream to sort of point you in the right direction for all of the events. And yeah, as you can see, now Scan is actually doing something. His APM's going up, he's moving a lot of units around. We are going to see the command center going up. He's built the bunker on the high ground very, very quickly. He's going to move the barracks as well to block this off to make it a little bit easier for his tanks to defend. Of course, he's going for Marine Shop first. Machine Shop even. Not Marine Shop, that would be a very interesting building. But yeah, I want to put like I've basically got a group together on Discord. We've not really done too much yet, I've not really suggested too much. But it's a group of all the content creators that I can think of so far for the Brood War scene. And what I want to do is I want to put all our heads together, see what we can do to try and increase viewership across the foreign Brood War scene, across everybody's tournaments, because all the tournaments get different viewer numbers, and they have to be different. They have to be different amounts of people as well. Like there can't be all the same people all the time. So I want to try and find a way of hooking all the viewers into all the streams. There's a lot of events going on. Of course, you don't have to watch them all, but if you can give the channels that do them a follow, that would be much appreciated. Do follow the creators on Twitter as well. Just help the scene in any way you can. That would be very much appreciated. Of course, if you are enjoying the SCPL as well, do follow this channel. If you can subscribe, please feel free to. Don't feel obligated to. I would never expect anyone to do that. It's just if you want to, you can. But follow would be very, very appreciated. But here we go. Looks like we do have a little bit of aggression coming onto the bunker. Very, very standard. Interestingly, because he has got Siege Expand, the siege will finish very, very quickly. And these Dragoons will be forced back a lot sooner than they would be when there's a 1 Rax FE in play. Of course, there is some other stuff going on, so the stuff like the Pylon Show as well, do tune into that. Even if you're not a big fan of StarCraft 2, In Control and Artosis are always really, really funny. Like, I genuinely think they're two of the funniest people in the scene, and thank you very much for following. It does mean a lot. But as you can see, we've got a missile turret coming up for Scan. He's not really been able to scout too much. He needs to be careful, he needs to play safe. There's no Reavers or anything coming up. We should actually see some Observers. And interestingly, we have a third base immediately for Dentag. This is one way you can play against better players. There's two things you can really do. You can play incredibly greedy, which is what Dentag is doing. He showed a Robo, which has forced a lot of turrets out of Scan. And he's just going to take a third base. We're going to have the second, third, and fourth factories coming up for Scan, though. And this could lead to a very, very strong timing attack. Here we go, the fourth factory immediately at about 200 minerals there. Scan is far from out. His opening does give him a little bit of an advantage. Not so much as 1 Rax FE does. But Dentag, of course, mining off of his 2 bases. We have the observatory up. We have Forge for very quick upgrades. And a third gateway coming in. And this, of course, is a very small third mineral only base. There's only actually 6,000 minerals at that base, but that does total up to a lot of gateways, a lot of zealots, and of course it's fairly easy to hold. Although Scan is going to be looking to push in an anti-clockwise direction, or counterclockwise as Americans call it, and he is going to get free reign to siege down this base and the natural at the same time. So interestingly, Dentag not playing as greedy as he maybe could have done. Oftentimes you do actually see the Protoss players going for like the 4th base sort of location. There's actually a gas here. There's a gas up here, and you can actually pylon block the ramp. And that's a lot further away from the Terran army. But here we go. It looks like Scan feels there's something up. He probably sent out a unit. He's going to see the observer, and the important thing is he has been scouted. Dentag will know that there is a 4 factory push coming his way, and he needs to be careful. He's got his Dragoons on hold position. This is so huge. Gonna lose 3 Dragoons at least. Oh, this Dragoon is going to get away. That's actually a pretty big deal. And it looks like Dentog, of course, Dentog playing very greedy, will have very, very few units to hold on to this. And this could be a very dangerous position for Dentog to be in. Of course, as I said, Scan coming in at an anti-clockwise direction, going towards the 12 o'clock, is going to find these Dragoons. This is a lot of tanks. And unfortunately for Dentog, maybe his greed is biting him in the arse here. Arse isn't so much a swear word in the UK, please. If there is any children listening, I do apologize, but this is a lot of damage by Scan. And I have got to do 4 factory pushes more often, man. They are so powerful. And here we go, as I said, he's going to siege down the natural and the third at the same time. And GG, Scan is going to take the series 3-0 for SouL in a very, very quick TVP. Very well executed by Scan. I'm going to have to study that replay just so I can learn how he did that. Because I need to make sure to mix more things like that into my play. TVP is probably my best matchup, so... But that isn't saying much when you're as bad as I am. Having something as your best matchup doesn't really mean too much. I mean, I can boast a little bit. TBT's my best, though. I'm like 70% win rate or something in TBT. But you know what? Let's report that game. I can, in fact, announce as well that the walkover did, in fact, go in favor, I believe, of SouL. I'm just going to double check. Let me just quickly check. So, this Fujikoda, the leader of SouL, actually did tell me everything that was going on. Wait, I need to go back a little bit further back. Okay, so if someone's watching, either the aSh team or SouL, can you let me know who won the walkover? Because no one actually told me, which is a bit of a mistake. So I can't actually report the game yet, but you know what? Let's actually head on over to the results. You're not going to... Well, I can probably just add the single win later. It's not too much of a big deal, but I'd rather wait. Let's actually have a look at the results screen. We can have a look at who won. It's going to be a 3-0 victory at least. It may be a 4-0 victory, maybe a 3-1 victory for SouL. Let's actually head on over here. We're going to see the results once again. So starting us off, we had Ultra taking out Tear in a very action-packed TBT. Well worth a watch. Even if you don't like TBT, that was a very, very cool game. Following that up, we did have a ZVP between Richley and Bael. Really, really nice played by really well played by Richley there. And finally, as we just saw, a very quick TVP between Scan and Dentog. And unfortunately for Dentog, didn't really work out for him. He did try and play greedy, didn't work, and Scan did take the victory for SouL. Apparently SouL got the walkover, so that will be a 4-0 victory for them. I'll update that afterwards. But it's... The stream is technically over, but there is a little bit more I have to announce. These are going to be the week 4 matchups. I've not announced what days they're going to be casted, just because I'm not sure when I'm going to get all the replays. I'm trying to be as lenient as possible. And okay, I'll go into the sound thing in just a second, but basically we're going to have DM versus Sai, Urk versus Foreign Brood War All-Stars. They're going to be your first 2 games. Net Wars versus SK Alpha, SouL Gaming once again versus Rev, Team Liquid Staff versus Red, and finally it's going to be aSh versus White Clan to finish off. It may not be in that order. Now, unfortunately, to explain the sound problem, I use a thing on Twitch, no, on OBS even, called a VLC media source, right? That is how I do the background. So like, say for example, I turn that off. When I turn that back on, I think that pops, right? It seems to be a bug in OBS. I've been searching around everywhere for a solution, because basically I don't want to have to put people through listening to a really annoying static pop every time I change my scenes. I can't figure out a better way of doing like the video backgrounds. I'm still working on it. If I can figure it out. Okay, if that didn't pop... Wait, did it pop when I changed scenes? Because there is a... VLC video source here. Yeah, okay. So like, if I turn off the VLC video source, let's just go to something without. Let's go to remastered OBS mode. It's like my basic OBS thing. I actually used this for another tournament that I casted. Let's go back to my camera. Let me know if that pops. Did that pop there? Hopefully you can let me know, because then I can figure out if there is a way to sort of semi-fix it. Okay, so what I may do, and it's going to be a bit annoying for me, but it's better for you because I don't want to keep shocking you with this weird static background. If I turn off my backgrounds as I go into and exit my scenes, maybe I can work out how to do that automatically. That will make life a lot easier for me. But you know what, if it makes the viewing experience better as well, that's better for all of you guys. Thank you once again for tuning in. Thank you to everyone who followed. Thank you to... how have I forgotten the name? Let me just bring up... I'm just going to bring up... what's it called? Streamlabs. I just want to make sure I get the name right. Just because I don't want to get it wrong. But thank you to the person who subscribed to me as well. It does mean a lot. My final little section... You say open door, right? You know what? I could actually go and open the door and show you what's outside. It's literally the outside. That is my front door. But yeah, thank you very much to ManLotAM subscribed to my YouTube, and Legit DPS, thank you very much for subscribing with Prime. It does mean a lot, and thanks to Creative from yesterday for donating some bits as well. The food window in your door fit a pizza box. That is my letterbox, but that letterbox has caused me so many problems. Like, you would not believe, right? Basically, when it gets really windy, it creates this really horrible noise, right? A really, really terrible noise. It's like this horrible, like, off-key trumpet or something, and it wakes me up in the middle of the night, and it's awful. The first time it happened, it scared the bejeebus out of me. It was just really, really horrible. But just to the final section of the stream, basically, STPL may be over for today, but there are a lot of events coming up on the next week. Monday, Wednesday, no, it's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday next week for the STPL. Monday is going to be the Brood War Clan League Finals. Do watch that with, I believe, in StarCraft TV, I believe, is the Twitch that's going to be on. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be featuring a couple of the teams, I believe, from the SCPL as well. So do have a look at that. Tomorrow morning for Europe, it's going to be at 1 o'clock finish time, which is going to be 1 hour ahead of current European time. So now in Finland, it's actually 11:30. It's going to be at 1 PM Finland time, 12 PM CEST. I think that's going to be 8 AM EST, so it's going to be quite early for Americans, but that is going to be the playoffs for Rotas with Map League. That's going to be a lot of fun. In the evening, do tune in to BSL on Zero stream. That is going to be a lot of fun. I think he's in round 4 or 5 now as well, so really, really going forward with that. Really, really nice tournament. Do tune into that. What else is there? Wednesday late at night for me, but prime time in America, and morning in Korea. There is going to be the Pylon show with Artosis and In Control. That's going to be a lot of fun. And on, I believe that's it. There's going to be a Red Clan Cup next Friday as well. Do sign in to play that. But I am going to end the stream now. I've actually run out of things to talk about. I'm going to get a drink, cool off a little bit from casting, and then play some ladder. I'm not going to play it on stream, just because I'm trying to get partner. Need to increase my average viewers overall, so any help I can get with that would be really, really great. But thank you once again for tuning into the BSL. There is code still left for Maturino, so if you do want to put those in... Oh, and ASL on Sunday. That's going to be Sunday morning for Europe, Sunday early morning for America, and evening for Korea. But if you put in Maturino in the chat, as you can see, there's a coupon code there. You can put that code in. That's going to add $1 to the prize pool, free of charge. But once again, thank you very much for tuning into the SCPL. Thank you for all the support. Any follows you can give me would be very much appreciated as well. All the VODs will go up on my YouTube by the end of tomorrow, if they're not already up. All the VODs of the previous games are up there, if you do want to go back and watch those. And I will see you guys on Tuesday. Thank you very much for tuning in. Once again, thank you to all the players for playing, and I will see you guys next time. Good night.